Friday morning, and good morning, good evening, and good night, depending on what part of the globe you're joining us from. I say a very good morning and welcome to our live transmission. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. I hope we're all doing very well wherever we are around the globe. As we commence the program this morning again, we remind ourselves, the most important is to not to look at self-determination as a crime. Self-determination is actually, one of the most important things that we should be grateful at this particular time in the history of the Yoruba people. Ní àsìkò tá wà yìí, ní wákàtí, we should be very, very thankful and grateful that the Yoruba people àti dìde àti ń béèrè fún ẹ̀tọ́ tí Ọba Elédùmarè tí ó sọ fún wa pé ká lọ béèrè. Ìran Yorùbá a ní history a dẹ̀ níbi tí a ti ṣẹ̀ wá gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn tí wọ́n ń darí wa, Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè. Orúkọ tèmi ni OLAYOMI KOIKI tí gbogbo yín mọ̀ sí Koikimedia, the bringing the world closer to your doorstep, from international to local to, most importantly, this platform has been dedicated 24/7 to self-determination. And that's exactly what we do on this platform. In case you are new to the platform, in case you are probably, trying to find what does self-determination means and why the Yoruba people should exit Nigeria, just as the Scottish people wants to exit United Kingdom. Also, self-determination is not a crime. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ máa ń rò pé bóyá bá ṣe ń béèrè fún ẹ̀tọ́ wa tá à ń béèrè, maybe it's a crime. No, gbogbo ẹni tó bá ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀, please ẹ sọ fún wọn pé self-determination kò kì í ṣe crime. It's actually a right, and that right is most important that we explain it to many people. So this morning, as you're coming in, mo kí wa pé ẹ káàárọ̀, and welcome to the live program. Today is the 24th day of the month of May. Oṣù yìí náà tuntun tún kásẹ̀ nílẹ̀. You can see that time is not really waiting for anybody. Nígbà wo la máa gba Yorùbá nation? Well, most importantly, ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ kọ́kọ́ máa béèrè fún the knowledge and the wisdom, to reason why we want, Yoruba nation. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ gan, they are not too sure whether they really want Yoruba nation. Ẹlòmíì kàn gbọ́ látara pé you don't have any other things to do, or you are probably not too convinced that it's going to be possible. If you're one of those, I work in She, one of those people. So it doesn't matter how long the Yoruba nation will come. It will definitely happen in our lifetime, in Jesus' name, inshallah, ní agbára àwọn tó láyé tó lọ́run. But it is not going to come without a lot of work. It will come with a lot of work, which is why we are here all the time, to educate the people and tell them everything tí wọ́n need láti mọ̀ nípa ìdí tí Yorùbá ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ dá dúró, away from that contraction. We actually call it contraction because Nigeria is actually a contraction, and there's no doubt about it. If anybody wants to say, it's about the leadership. No, it's got nothing to do with the leadership. Nigeria has come to that final part that everybody must go their separate ways. I know some of you are very adamant that you are praying that we will be disappointed. Good morning, Peter Pan. Good morning, Mr. Bilo, and many of you that have joined. Good morning, Mr. Kazim. Good morning, Mindbox Games, and many of you that have joined that probably have refused to say good morning, because some of you joined the program, but you refuse to say good morning or give us a shout out. So on top of any shout out, we have the right to also give them a shout out. But some of you are watching me quietly, but you refuse to say something. But there's nothing wrong in that. It is your own desire not to say good morning or say something in the comment section. But if you do, it's for the benefit of me and you, because this platform is more of interaction. Sometimes, we might not have the time to call your names out because of the kind of, work that we're doing. So I'm actually sharing the program. Good morning, Pinky underscore 051. Can you say Bombo Kla? Bombo Kla to you as well. Moki Easy Aziz all the way in Miami. Moki Babata. Babata Mani Koiki. Oh, kí n pè mí. Tó bá ń ṣe program. Ó máa ń kí àwọn tó kù. Èmi náà wà ní Houston, Texas. Máa kí mi lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn ìyá wa, mo kẹ́yìn bàbá wa. I am not new to many of you. It's just that many of you do not want to accept the truth, because the truth is bitter. Moki Iyawa Idris Abimbo, oh brother me Idris Abimbola rather. Good morning to you. Moki ní gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá káàkiri gbogbo bí tẹ́ ti ń gbọ́ wa. Mo wá lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kí ọbẹ̀ Elédùmarè nínú ayé wa pé ó fún wa ní this strong energy, to stand firm. Moki ẹlẹ́nkan sí easy káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Moki ìyá tó bí mi lọ́mọ, because sometimes people wonder, if what we are asking for, if it's ever going to happen in our lifetime. Koiki, Yorùbá nation tẹ́ ń ṣe yìí, nígbà wo ló máa bọ́ sí náà? Kò ń ṣe pé nígbà wo ló máa bọ́ sí. What is your own responsibility? Kí lẹ̀yin náà ń ṣe kó lè bá bọ́ sí. We are doing our part. Baba Akintoye is doing his part. Igboho is doing his part. Most of the world media are doing their part. Everybody's playing their part. So your responsibility is to also do their part. Mokiamo Biafra, under the leadership of, Simon Ekpa, the government in exile of the Biafra, and likewise, as we continue to remember that Nnamdi Kanu, you can see the energy. Somebody that has been kidnapped, rendition. You saw the last time it was at the court. You saw the energy, the fire in him. Fire. You are outside. You are free. Nobody has kidnapped you. Nobody has detained you. But yet, you don't want to get involved. But it is easy for you to come and either criticize or try to whine or bring, those that are working hard, with some of your stupidity, because you think that this Yoruba nation is fighting Tinubu's government. There's nothing concern us with Tinubu's government. Tinubu is running the government because he believes in Nigeria. And now, less than 48 hours to Tinubu's 1 year in office. We'll be doing a special program on that at some point. But for now, the focus is, I'm sharing the program. So about button, share. It will go a long way. More people will know that we are live. So that is the most important part. Don't just sit back, share it into your platforms. Tabanshe Christian program, most of you share it. Tabanshe Islamic program, most of you also share. So why is it difficult that Koikimedia is live? You don't want to share so that people doesn't know that you are also involved in self-determination. Self-determination is not a crime. It's actually a right. There's an election coming up in UK. I'm sure most of you are aware, on the 4th of July. Would the next UK Prime Minister have sympathy or walk around why Yoruba people needs to exit Nigeria? Remember that UK joined Nigeria together. What do you think? It is good to know your views. Kile Europe Mashele. Do you think that the next UK Prime Minister would probably, I don't know whether it's going to be Conservative, Labour, Green Party. There's also a new political party. I've been inupdated with many of you that says, Koiki, Kilon Shell in the UK. And Bokwe, there's a Yoruba UK party. I've had a conversation with the with Bashigun. We actually spoke during the week. We are meant to bring him on the platform, which is going to happen hopefully If not tomorrow, hopefully this week. Oh yes, we have 2 live channels that are streaming. We have the backup channel, which is WD76, and we have the Koikimedia, which is also streaming simultaneously. So yes, because we were having issues at some point with the Koikimedia, so we have 2 channels. Mokiba Bami Ojolakwe, Ganil Olaiwola, good morning Koiki Baba, Professor Akintoye, Heavenly Father will be there with you and give you wisdom in Jesus' name, amen. Let us not disrespect Moki Tony Ages, Adeleye Taiwo, Moki Alaja Adeyeye, and Salamu Alaikum, to all our brothers and sisters, as today's Friday. Moki gbogbo Christians, Aboro Aboye fáwọn oníṣẹ̀ṣe, and I say what God cannot do does not exist. As we are going to go into the program slightly, we continue from where we stopped the last time. So, which is, if you look at the topic, it's all about our roots. We are Jabolorigi, and we are not monkeys. Ayomi Kundamiju, my brother, shout out to you. African Confidential, always fighting, those that are against us on the X, which is also known as the Twitter as well. So we're all doing our best, within the little resources that we have. If we have more resources, trust me, we're going to do a lot. Thank you so much, Mind Box Game. How you doing? Spider-Man? That is Zazu, a Yoruba man. And we hope that one day most of them will get involved in the movement at some point. It's a movement. Many people don't know the meaning of movement. But before we go into the program, should we sing it with my voice? Or should we just sing it without my voice? What do you think? Should I voice me with the Yoruba anthem, or should I play at the background? I think it's too early in the morning. I don't want to wake my family up. It's a mobile studio. I'm sure most of you are aware. That means I'm streaming from the house. It's quite late in London. Sonki, good morning, my brother. Moki, Ifagbemileke, Moki, all the people that are with us, and those that are not with us. We are not enemies to the Yoruba people. We are not enemies to each other. Sometimes it's just that our views are different. What we believe in might be different from what the other Yoruba people. We don't have a country yet. Don't be fooled by anybody that Yoruba Tigba country and all that. We don't have a country yet. There is no Yoruba country under the international community. There is no Yoruba country under United Nations as a member. There is no under Yoruba nation that is recognized by African Union, that is recognized by European Union. So don't be fooled by anyone telling you, oh, we've got Yoruba nation as a country. So I'm going to read it. I think I should read it off Ed. I can read it with the book. So where's that book? Let's find my, that little book that we had that had to look where I wrote it inside. So let's read from that book. So there's a lot to catch up with as usual. This is the letter we sent to Tinubu. We hope that the president will listen to us. We don't fight the president. We are not separatists. We are not terrorists. We are people that are asking for the right to self-determination. But we are fully on a live transmission. So this is a live transmission. If you are waking up, you are wondering, live ni Koikiwa? Yes, it's a live transmission. Please share the program, and later, we hope that you will gain something out of it. 8 minutes past 3. Let's go like this. Iṣẹ́ wa fúnlẹ̀ wa, forílẹ̀ ìbí wa, kàgbéga, kàgbéga, kàgbéga fàlérí. Ìgbàgbọ́ wa ni pé bàtí bẹ̀rù làbọ̀ mọ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká jọlá ìṣọ̀kan àtòmìnira ní kẹjẹ ká máa lépa ìtẹ̀síwájú fọ̀pọ̀ ire àtohun tó dára ọmọ Oòduà dìde bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. So shout out to the National Association of Okun Students. I'm sure most of you remember her. Okay, that is one of our brains. That is one of us, like me and you. She was trained by the same country that killed her. Mokiyawa Oyeronke Olaniyan. Yes, it's about our heritage. Moki Eniolong Moki. Thank you so much, Mindbox. We would have our country by Almighty Mokiya Grandma Felicia Jagbe GR1. I'm sure most of you remember Tolulokpa Rotile. I'm sure you remember that uniform. Okay. Imagine you would assume that we have a country. Moki Adeshola Gabriel, Mr. Ola, good morning. And I will appreciate as much of you if you help us to share the program. We are fully on a live transmission on all the platforms. From the MixLR, which is, we have 2 people listening on the MixLR. MixLR is like an audio version. It saves you a lot of data. It is important that you follow the MixLR on Koikimedia. It's not a radio station. Many people tend to say it's a radio platform. No, but it's just like a technology. The beauty of the technology is that technology has developed very fast. So with the MixLR, which I've already shared the link, it allows you and enables you to listen without seeing the person. Most people are using it. It is not free. You have to pay for it. So, but many people have made it to look like it's a radio station. It's not a radio station. It's important that I educate us on all this. Not that we are telling you that I want on low, don't support radio. No, a radio must have a frequency, 97.5, 88.3. If you do not have any of such with a license from the government where you are operating from, the Nigerian government is not going to give Koikimedia a license to broadcast. That is the reason why we've relied only on the social media, the YouTube, the Facebook, the Twitter Space, the MixLR, and the Instagram. I'm not on TikTok because TikTok is just, as much as many people think that we have to be on TikTok, it's a useless platform that doesn't respect human rights and the right of people like myself campaigning for self-determination. But they allow people like Boko Haram terrorists to use their platform. And I'm sure most of you have seen those videos. I don't have to go into it. So that is about it. Yes, Yoruba is our identity, and we are not Nigerians. But again, officially, as at now, we are Nigerians because that is what is currently being represented around the world as at today. But if we work hard, and I mean work very hard, which is what we are doing now. I'm going to go back to Tolulokpe in a minute. Moki Sister Ellen. Sister Ellen is from the same local government, Ijionu local government, where Tolulokpe, also came from. If we work very hard, beauty amokwe, yadada, mokinyi, ebanki, our family. Moki Yami, one of my very big auntie, she was 70 years old some few weeks back. I was actually watching the video when I visited my mom yesterday. Tolulokpe came from a country that did not value a life. Yesterday, I had the privilege to be very close to one of the UK military barracks called Gilberta Gilberta Barracks. Gilberta Barracks is a British Army installation at Minley at Hampshire. It was built in 1976. Let me give you just a small background about it. It's owned by the Ministry of Defense. When you live in UK, like I have lived for 24 years, and money privilege to go around a lot because of, as a media personnel. So I travel a lot, and I'm sure most of you must have been seeing some of those videos that we put out when I'm out about, doing my journalism work. It is the Royal Engineer first arrival at the Minley with an engineer brigade in the early 1970s. I'm talking about the Gilberta Barracks, which is a military barracks, a UK military barracks. Why am I talking about that? Because we're talking about it because of this beautiful late Tolulokwe Arotile. Most Nigerians probably don't even remember because there's too many problems in Nigeria. First and foremost, she was trained by the Nigerian government, and she was eventually killed by the same federal government. And don't come and tell me there's conspiracy theory, Koiki, you are making this up. It's because you don't like Nigeria. We know that your platform brings everything about Nigeria bad news. Most of you say that. I don't care. She was 24 years old. Imagine if she was in UK with the same opportunity that she had before she was killed. Let me give you a small background to Tolulokwe Arotile, because looking at that name, Orukonye Gongon, if the true identity was left alone, not that nobody dies, people die every day. We saw the president of Iran died in an helicopter crash. They were looking for it for more than 14 hours. And 7 other people. People die every day around the world. But you don't get killed by the same government that is meant to be the one to look after you. So most Nigerians are dying gradually, not because it is your time to die. It is the negligence of a country that does not value your true identity and your roots, which is the topic that we are treating today. If you look at the topic that I'm looking at today, it's the same thing from what I told you the last time we were live, which is the same topic that says path to prosperity in our ORILEEDE Yoruba. We are a nation with proud roots and a proud history. Not that if Tolulokwe was working as a Yoruba flying officer, she could have died as well. Maybe if she was doing her job and the helicopter she was riding on was brought down by terrorists that she was trying to protect you and me as Nigerians. But the painful part is that Tolulokwe Arotile was killed by a Fulani government during Buhari regime because she was a Yoruba woman before Nigeria, just as Obaseki, the governor of Edo State, said, and I quote, that I am a Edo before Nigeria. But we know that the reason why the word Nigeria is known around the world as against Edo, Biafra, Arewa, Ijo, Yoruba, and whatever, as many of different indigenous people, is because the British created a fraud, one of the biggest fraud. And as the election is coming on the 4th of July in the next 5 weeks, what Ibere campaign, but more, a lot of Milano, in UK, nobody's giving any rice, nobody's giving any moi moi, any thing. Safety domain, good morning and welcome to the program. Because any funny all that crap. Ìyá mi mo dúpẹ́ ọ̀dúpẹ́ agboola mo fi tẹ̀lédùmarè kí ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò wa. You would vote for people in UK based on their manifesto and what they plan to do. I'll be doing a program on the UK election and how we should look into it, especially as self-determination. There's also a Yoruba political party that has been established in UK. I'm aware of it already. They've sent me the details, and I will bring the person to come and talk to us about it. It is not a Yoruba political party in Nigeria. It is here established in UK under the UK law, okay? It has nothing to do with Nigeria. They just want to have representatives at the parliament level as a member and some other areas as political party. And it's not new that people set up political party. There's a political party called the ALBA Party, A-L-B-A. You can Google it. That party is only representing the Scottish people for self-determination. I don't know whether this Yoruba political party will be doing the same thing, but during question and answer with the leader of the party that has been established in UK, we will find out. But it's called the Yoruba Political Party. We will be telling you more about that later. But let's focus back again on the UK military barracks that I visited yesterday. I mean, not visited, I was in that area for the journalism work I do. And I saw all these young officers. They're probably not Mukiawa Comfort Adele or Sininu uniform. But you can tell that they are members of the British military. Young officers, looking very clean. Some of them were very close to their cars. I didn't have any interaction with them. And I'm thinking now that Tolulope was just 24 years old when she was murdered by the federal government of Buhari, the terrorist Fulani guy. That many of you today still hope that with your prayer, you can bring back Nigeria to life. To be honest with you, Kunle Bakers, when you're in the program, I know, or if you just don't want to give us the super chat, we love it, we appreciate it. When people give us donation, it is voluntary. And media can only operate with money. If you don't have money, you cannot operate as a full media. So Kunle Bakers gives us super chat twice, 3 times in a week. I mean, in a day, not in a week. If I come back out again in the morning, he will do the same thing. And we love him. We appreciate you. And just like many of you. If you want to support as well, you can always go to my website, koikimedia.com. How to support is there. And don't come and tell me, Koiki, enter the platform. No, CNN begs for advertisement. Well, not literally beg, but people go there. Mike Adenuga is advertising on CNN. And I'm sure you know how much that is going to cost him. And many of them like that. Even UBA. So if we don't have advert on our platform, the donation then for is only what is helping us. There's no point watching us without supporting. If 2,000 people watch me and give us £1 each, I can expand and I can penetrate into Nigeria up to the north and tell them about self-determination. And I know how I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to tell you because I know my strategies. It will not just be online. You will be seeing Koikimedia flyers on self-determination in Kano, up to Kano. But since we don't have the capacity, I will only do what I can do by the little resources I have, which is what I'm doing right now. But if we have many of you that are supporting continuously, we will have enough to expand. Yoruba nation. So, but let's leave that. So Tolulope was a first ever Eni Akoko. You are praying, Nigeria. I pray so. My job is not here to condemn you, Nigeria. But the chances of millions of Yoruba people like Nigeria is very, very slim. You know why? Because what it by the true identity of us and giving us a false hope. which is what the British did. I live with them. I keep telling you that. I meet a lot of true indigenous English people. Only program there's a video of an English guy I follow on YouTube, and I'll bring that video in a full broadcast at some point. They are very concerned people at the moment because many people are living in UK that is changing the demographic society of the United Kingdom. In the next 30 years, UK will be far less of English people. There will be more foreigners in this country in the next 30 years. 50 years from now, the English people are concerned. So Tolulope, a flying officer, the first ever, hear this very well, we've never seen or heard of a flying helicopter combat pilot in the history of the Navy. But Nigeria is a crazy country that doesn't care whether you are the first ever Yoruba woman or a Nigerian, if you want to call yourself that way. So the same thing is with you. Yes, we've seen great Nigerian footballer, Kanu, Okocha, but that is not our true identity. It is the British fraud that created that crazy entity known as Nigeria. And if that entity does not dissolve, your true history of who you are as Omo Yoruba will never be achieved. Oh yes, they will say, Anthony Joshua, they even put it as Anthony Joshua, a British Nigeria. But if you commit a crime, it will be Nigeria before British. The British media are very good at that. Very biased media, I can tell you that. Not all of them, but majority of the British media are biased, like the BBC. The same BBC, in the UK, you don't want to fund Koikimedia, but majority of you are paying TV license. Latifuni, even £10 is too much for you every month. Only for Koiki, £10 or what. But you are giving BBC £164 every month for your TV license. And you dare not say you're not giving them that money, you will be penalized. So once again, to those that really dip their hands, Yawa Comfort, Ologunja, Yemi Fatoki, and many that can mention your names, Triple DRS, even some of the Biafrans are looking after us with the little they can. There's a particular person that is Benjamin. I think he stays somewhere in Belgium. I know there's Clement. And they say, Koiki, we love what you're doing for your Yoruba people. We are not Yoruba, but we will look after you from the little that we have to support you as we support the Biafra. So when some of you that lives in UK does not want to support Koikimedia because maybe you are not very happy that it is what we are doing, but along supporting BBC. BBC will not give you the kind of message of hope about your history. Yeah, they will talk about other things, but we're talking about our history. They also have a history. Fulani has a history. Every Nigerian, before you were a Nigerian, you had a history. It is that history that we are talking about this morning. That history that was removed by the British for their own selfish interest. And when we say donate, remember, it is voluntary. It has nothing to do with Yoruba Nation. Jamo 419, Muke brother me, Koniba de Foin. Koiki, why are you collecting money for your country? No, it's not for Yoruba Nation. It's for Koikimedia. Koikimedia now decide how to spend it for his own personal or towards the mission of Koikimedia. And as you know, Koikimedia stands for Yoruba Nation in the last 3 years. And we're not going to deviate. We're not going to allow anything to distract us. Just like my mom always say, don't let them distract you. Just continue the work you're doing. As I was spending a very good evening with my mom yesterday. Yawa Oyerun Kelani said, I am a Yoruba woman first before Nigeria and any religion. And we should be always proud to say that. I am a Yoruba man proud Yoruba man before Nigeria. And if you want to support, the donation can be done through, we had a GoFundMe. We want to raise 50,000. We couldn't raise 1,000. But like I always say, I will not come here and plead for you to support me when I'm in my sick bed. Because some of you, that's probably what you love to do. Not everybody, but majority people. Koiki ono ready eba wa dawo fún ẹ lè dáwó àìsàn fẹ́mi. Owó tí mo need, owó Koikimedia láti fi operate this platform. That's the money I need. Koiki ti gbéyàn kan wá, wọ́n ti gé lẹ́sẹ̀, ẹ bá wa dáwó fún. That is not the kind of money I want you to donate for us. Yes, if we have enough. Many people reach out to me. They need help, they need support, they need assistance. And I tell them up straight that I don't have it. I don't have it. If I have it, I will support you. It does not matter of your problem in Nigeria. Koiki, ìyàwó mi ó wà hospital. Look, èmi náà láwọn tó jẹ́ pé ìyàwó wọn sí hospital, but they need money. I am not Dangote. Alabi Samuel, good morning. Emmanuel Alaba 983. Yoruba has been in existence before Nigeria. So we are Yoruba first. We have a root. So when we say support Koikimedia, we make sure to specifically add it is voluntary donation. You don't have to donate. It's not going to stop you from watching me. But if you donate, it helps the platform to stay strong. Al Jazeera is funded by the Qatar government. The importance of the media, and not just mine, from the Yoruba World Media, home-based media, and the independent media, I'm only talking about the iswallow.com or _com. Shout out to you and welcome. Yoruba Nation. We have many Yoruba people that are doing other things that is not Yoruba Nation. I'm not talking about those ones. So you need the importance of the media to fight, enlighten, and educate many Yoruba people on the reasons why we need to exit Nigeria. And we need to. We don't have to delay it by any minute or seconds. We need to get out of that shit old country. Koiki, stop calling Nigeria zoo. Is it because you're in UK? No, it's got nothing to do with me being in UK. Nigeria is a zoo that end up killing this beautiful young officer. Mr. Perry, good morning to you. The officer known as Flying Officer Tolulope Oluwatoyin Sarah Arotile was the first ever female combat helicopter pilot in the Nigerian Air Force. They've never seen one before. So why kill her? Is because Fulani does not love Yoruba people. Hausa does not love Yoruba people. Igbo does not love Yoruba people. But we can live together if we respect each other as different countries. If we respect each other, we can have a Biafra government and the Yoruba people will go and live there, but you respect the laws of the Biafra government. I live in UK. And if I have disobeyed or tried to manipulate my 20 years plus of living in UK, the law will catch up on me and I will be dealt with according to the British law and the Constitution. But the Nigerian law today only applies to Enyi Mekunu. And you know what I'm talking about. So don't come and tell me, Koiki is not like that too. Moki Mr. Shegun Amosun. Akim Ayodele brother mi Moki. Dero Michael, good morning. Moki will go into our Lori platform and all the silent listeners. You know what I'm talking about. I saw a police officer. I'm sure some of you have seen the video. I don't have to show you. Dragging the steering in a live motion vehicle, a Uber driver. Okay, I agree the Uber driver did not apply this common sense to stop for a respected police officer. But the officer decided, since the citizen does not want to respect me in the uniform, the question is, does the Nigerian Constitution gives you the opportunity for both of you to respect each other. The UK here where I live, there's a lot of police on the road and off the road. The CIDs, they have the right to stop me at any time, but they must respect me as a person, even though we are just foreigners in this country. I will be given a respect and dignity. So many of you that says that, oh, one day Nigeria will just transform and then it will become a better country when we have a good leader. You will never have a good leader. There is nothing called a good leader. Any good leader. Because our roots is different. We are different from each other. And we can never be the same. There's no amount of living in denial, which most of us are doing today. Oh, Nigeria will be great. It's just a matter of time. No, it will never be great. Nigeria will never be great because the creation of that entity called Nigeria is not in the interest of every one of us. It's actually in the interest of those that created Nigeria in the first place, just as they created many territories. Macron just arrived in New Caledonia. I know many of you don't know what is happening around the world. That is why you have to stick to this platform. You must follow us like you are going to your church and your mosque. But that is or if you don't believe in that, as you love whatever you believe in. That is the only way you can know what is happening on the Koikimedia. Macron, France President, Emmanuel Macron, have just arrived in New Caledonia in the last couple of days. Do you know why? There is a crisis in that region. And I'm looking at the headline from the yesterday Financial Times. And this is how they put it. So when some of you are saying Yoruba nation are violent people, no, we are not violent people. This movement is one of the most peaceful movements. We pray again for Tolulokpa Rotile. If she was in UK, maybe she could have died as well as a flying officer because that helicopter could have crashed, or she could have died from other things. But Tolulokpa, before we move away from her, was born on the 13th of December 1995, 2 years after Nigeria destroyed a true election of the late Chief MK Abiola in 1993. The most fairest, the most peaceful, whether it was an Igbo, Ijo, Ishekiri, Yoruba, they decided to vote for MK Abiola. They didn't see him as a Yoruba man. They saw him as somebody that is worth to become a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, just as some saw Tinubu, but not everybody, because there was a lot of different fractions during the 2023 election, which Tinubu will be 1 year in office in the next 48 hours, or probably a little bit longer than that, because 29 is still 5 days away. Tolulokpe was just 24 years old. That is the amount of time I have lived in UK, roughly. Èjì Tolulokpe, k'Ọlọ́run bá wa fọ̀run kẹ́, ó ti fi kú ṣe àgbà fún wa nísìn. K'Ọlọ́run bá wa dúró ti family. We all know what happened to her. She was murdered, not killed, murdered. Wọ́n pa, wọ́n yanjú ẹ̀ kúrò, because the same way ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà Nàìjíríà tẹ́ ṣe máa ń jẹra yín lẹ́sẹ̀ is the same way the government ìgbésẹ̀ tó jẹ Tolulokpa Rotile pa. They didn't care whether she was doing the needful as the first ever female combat helicopter She died right in Kaduna, right inside the territory that is meant to be the most secured. Because as I was looking at that Gilberta barracks, the UK, yesterday, I saw that it is not going to be easy for me to go in there if I don't have an appointment or invited. It's a well-secured military barracks. So you wonder if Tolulope was murdered right inside the military barracks. You, as an ordinary citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as you call it, will be murdered, and I'll tell you how. Without adequate security, your life is at threat on a daily basis in Nigeria. Not that UK doesn't have its own threat. I keep telling you that. UK, as of today, is substantial, likely to be attacked by terrorists. But they are working to make sure that that does not happen. But it does not mean it cannot happen. It has happened before. In 2006, UK was attacked by terrorists. Few people died, many injured. Some are still going through the PTSD. But in Nigeria, you would not likely to survive 52 years old. If you do, give thanks, because Nigeria stole the Yoruba people identity, which is my focus point, and likewise other people's identity, the indigenous people. Nigeria stole it because the British wanted it that way. So let me go back to Emmanuel Macron. Let me give you the background of reason Emmanuel Macron had to travel from France. And I'll tell you the distance. From France to New Caledonia. Emmanuel Macron, the same thing that they've done, stolen different territories and named it according to them. How can 16,000 kilometers, France then decided that they will still own another territory known as New Caledonia, which is 16,811 kilometers. And if you're going to go by flight, that is almost 18 hours. The same thing that the UK did. They left their base, which is here in Europe. UK now decided to travel down with Portuguese exploration to go and be looking for something somewhere in a beautiful continent that the Lord created. Whatever Lord you believe in, doesn't matter. But for the Yoruba people, it was created for us. Láti lè rí ayé gbé, láti lè jẹ́ kí ìran wa kó má bàa parẹ́, láti lè jẹ́ ká lè rí nǹkan ribiribi ṣe, nǹkan dáadáa, láti lè keep our identity wa. They left there. They were doing a lot of exploration. People that have lived in those communities, that have called those communities different names. When the explorer came in, they decided to name it according to their own findings. Oh, we just arrived there. Maybe we should call it Nigeria. Oh, we just arrived there. We should call it New Caledonia. They created all kind of different territories for their own selfish interest. And as of today, those territories that have been created, partition, India, Pakistan, UK empire lasted for 200 years. During that 200 years, UK created a lot of problems that we're experiencing today. Problems of theft, problems of identity theft. That is the number one. When people say, why do we want to go out of Nigeria? It's because of the identity theft that the British created by forcing us to be known as Nigeria, that is not older than our great-grandfathers. And when we say let us reverse it, many Nigerians do not want it to be reversed because most of them, not every Nigerian, most of them are also criminals that look forward to become a politician in the future so that they can steal money as well. So they will not want to support a self-determination. Rather, they will prefer to support a corrupt entity, a corrupt system that is not functioning, that is not loyal to you as a citizen. Because as a citizen, you have a right. Ẹni ẹ̀tọ́ yẹn ló yẹ kẹ́ máa béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn representatives yìí. But your representative care less because that is what the British created, just like France. So France during that era, an evil era, we should call it that way, the era of colonialism, the era of suppressing, subjugation of people, the people that owns territories, the true indigenous people, they went in there and created a different version of what they think is good for them. They were using not conversation like this. So when people say we are violent, I keep asking, do you know what the meaning of violent is? Do you know what violent is? Do you know what the Europeans created in violence against indigenous people across different parts of the world, including the Yorubas? So ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yóò mọ̀ because you don't have the knowledge and the background. All we have been told is, oh, go and study medicine, go and study agriculture, go and study mechanical engineer. And then you even come out and end up become Okada rider and POS. But the true meaning of who we are was stopped by the Europeans after they started fighting and scrambling for Africa, taking what does not belong to them, killing people that does not believe in them. Do you know how many Mau Mau people were killed by the British in 1950? Because they refused to accept the British trying to steal from them their identity. King Charles was there recently and he refused to apologize to the Mau Mau people that were killed during that era. Because an apology will mean a lot of things. So, Yoruba Yoruba nation. Nigeria. No, your identity has been stolen. But we are not doing it in a violent way. Oh yes, my utterances especially might not be comfortable with many of you. I understand. But the British and the Europeans, they came with violence. Many violence. I saw the Oba of Benin excited. The artifacts stolen by Germans and the Europeans have been returned to Benin. Many stolen artifacts have been leased. Do you imagine something that was stolen from you and now they are leasing it back to you? That is what the British are doing in Ghana. Stolen artifacts during the British, reign in Africa, in Ghana and Nigeria. Àwọn nǹkan tó jí, wọ́n wá náà lease ẹ̀ fáwọn Ghanaians for 2 years. So, we stole this. We know we stole it. But listen, you will be penalized. The British stole so much that nobody is penalizing them today. What they've stolen from us is our identity. And we are saying, okay, let us have our identity back. We will still have cordial relationship with you as Yoruba people. We will not have any issue with you. We will just have the same relationship as we had it during the Western region when we have that known now as Nigerian High Commission. It's a Western building bought by cocoa money by Awolowo. But it has been converted to a Nigerian High Commission. And I'll be visiting there very soon because I have an engagement there soon. Alan Conde, thank you so much. And Alan Conde says, and I quote, "My brother, that evil from Britain is still continuing to today. Our identity has been destroyed by the evil kingdom called Britain. And Omo Yoruba ń bá wa jà. Keke Okosmokie. Imagine Yoruba people are fighting us because we are trying to retrieve what was stolen by the British Empire, which is our identity. I mean, that for me, sometimes I'm thinking, Omo Yoruba monta ń jà fún ṣá. It's because we are getting money, super chat. No, it's not because of that. It's British stole my identity. I want it back. I am not fighting the British. I am not fighting the federal government. I just want my identity back. That's all. Because Baba Akintoye told us in this new book, a 95-page new write-up. I have already added it to Koikimedia website. We've shared it on many platforms. If you haven't seen a copy, you could request, or you can just go on my website. You will find it there. If you follow me on my WhatsApp Koikimedia page, WhatsApp, you will not be able to put any comment or anything there. It is just for you to read and pick up news, and that's all. And if we find anybody that is using that platform to come to you and say, "Me, I need more," just tell us. We will remove them from that platform. We have a Telegram channel. These are the things you should be following. I am not saying you shouldn't follow other platforms, but for you to know about self-determination and all these things that we talked about, you must follow me. It is free. I am not asking you to come and subscribe and pay for that. I need the link in here. You give it to you, so you will be there. So when we post things, some of the things that Fulani are doing on our soil, graphic one, you will not see it on social media. You only find it if you follow me on X, which is former Twitter, or you are inside the Telegram channel of Koikimedia. But many of you don't want that, but it's no problem. So when people are saying, Koiki, you are Tigbo, you left that Nigeria. Nigeria has been destroyed by the British from the day one before the election in 1959. Nigeria was destroyed by British by creating all kinds of manners of proxies. The most important is they created Nigeria not for our own interest. So I want to go back to Macron because that Macron visit to New Caledonia. Some of you might have never heard that about it before. Koiki Oto in New Caledonia. Oríṣiríṣi la máa ń gbọ́ lórí platform yẹn. Ìwọ náà ló ní ìwọ ni bàbá Yorùbá tó máa educate wa láti lè jẹ́ ká mọ kí ló tẹ̀ ń lọ lágbàáyé. So where is New Caledonia and why is it important in the conversation today? New Caledonia, and I'll spell it in case you want to check it out yourself. I keep telling you, you don't listen to this platform, you must have pen and paper. You must have something to jot down. Because that is the only way you can go and argue with that your stupid friend that is saying we should keep Nigeria. You will start choking them with questions. Where is Nigeria? Who are Nigerians? What language is Nigeria? So when you listen to Koikimedia with your own fact, you will stand gidigba. Even if they want to knock you out, if you give them some question to your church member, don't fight them. Just put question to them. Tani Lugard? Who is Flora Shaw? Do you know who is Lugard? Do you know that Lagos colony was on its own? All these questions is what you use as your defense. Don't fight them about whether they are APC or PDP. Some of them are gullible. They don't have a clue. It is what they know. So how do you blame people that it only knows about from AD? Tinubu took them to APC, and we see how APC will stand to the election. No, it's not about Igbalamagba Yoruba Nation. What is your understanding about Yoruba Nation? Those of you on Instagram, you know what it is. It's 1 hour to the program. will go in and come back out again. So it's all about knowing the truth, because that is the only thing that will free your mind. We are not saying you should agree with everything that we are saying on our platform, but what is the truth about Nigeria? Is Nigeria being truthful? So New Caledonia is spelled as New in Kotuntun, N-E-W, November Echo Whiskey. Caledonia, C-A-L-E-D-O-N-I-A. Charlie, Alpha, Lima, Echo, Delta, Oscar, November, Echo. I'll take that again. Charlie, Alpha, Lima, Echo, Delta, Oscar, November, India, Alpha. New Caledonia, is 16,000 kilometers from France, but it's actually a France territory. Do you know that UK has a lot of British territories? Do you know the meaning of territory? Territory. Yoruba is a territory, but it's just that it's under a fraudulent country called Nigeria. Yoruba, we have our territory. Sheribubu from Kwara, Kogi, Ondo, Ekiti, Osun, Oyo, Ogun, Lagos. Ibitonpe territory tiwa nìyẹn. It has been demarcated. Olongan ti demarcated with the river Niger. But Yoruba people say, no, let us keep that territory inside a monster branded as Nigeria, because the British branded Nigeria, not because of me and you, it's because of their own interest. Because that territory that I just talked about, from Kwara all the way down to Lagos, has been part of us before the Portuguese came. We have been in existence, and I can prove that before we come back again to to New Caledonia. If I take you back to what Baba Akintoye said, and I'm going to read it quickly so that you can have the understanding of our history. Because the moment you know about your history, it makes life easy for us. So let's look at what Baba Akintoye said again. We Yoruba are a nation with a proud roots and a proud history. We Yoruba are a nation with a long and proud history, according to our very powerful ancient traditions. We Yoruba are the oldest people. Àwa la jẹ́ ẹni tó ti dá sílé ayé yìí. Ayé tó ń wò yìí. This is how the world looks like. It's a very beautiful view from the space. But this is the world. It's full of water. OLAYOMI KOIKI. So you think that you want to remain in a territory that is our own, but the name was changed. Orúkọ yẹn ni wọ́n changed. There's nothing wrong with our territory. When we say Nigeria is a zoo, we literally mean that the entity name Nigeria is a zoo, but our territory is producing graduates, producing a lot of opportunities. Benny, they say, we Yoruba are the oldest people in the world. So how can the oldest people in the world now remain under something that is 110 years old? It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. These are the reasons you must tell somebody that so possible nǹkan tó jẹ́ arúgbó tó dàgbà gan kó wà lábẹ́ in tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo tó create. Do you know that Nigeria is not up to 1,000 years old? Even if Nigeria was 1,000 years old, it is still our fundamental human right under the UN Charter, under the African Union, that we want to take back our stolen identity. Our history has been distorted. So when we talk about the New Caledonia, it's just the same thing as British created a lot of different ones. There's a particular one that is also known as Gilberta. Do you know that the Gilberta territory is almost the same. Gilberta territory is a British territory as well. And do you know that the whole population of Gilberta, gbogbo population wọn láyé títí di wákàtí, the population of another British territory, just like New Caledonia, Macron ti débẹ̀ ní say, I'll tell you the reason why Macron is there, because the people that own that territory, they've gone violent. It's one of the worst violent in 30 years. They are known as the I want to make sure I get their name very well. I think, yeah, Kanak, K-A-N-K. The indigenous, okay, let me read this so that you can get the grasp of it, and I'll come back to Gilberta. Emma Binukwe, we're moving left like that and right. That is the only way you can understand Intan Jafun. Eshigon Babami Waris, yeah, Kanak. We are indigenous people. There's another one called Kanak, and one on the territory. But France left their own territory, 16,000 kilometers, and then went to claim somebody else's territory. And they are now calling it France overseas territory, just like Gilberta overseas. Gilberta is a British overseas territory. The population, according to the World Bank in 2022, is 32,649. Do you know that they have their own dialing code? Do you know that Yoruba people in Nigeria is 35 million? We are bigger than Gilberta. Akpoju Gilberta, no. So we should have our own system of government, our own constitution, our own military, our own police, our own security services, our own immigration, our own naval officer. All these are opportunities that we're talking about. But Yoruba people, no, we don't want that. In Jesus' name, Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí Yoruba nation. And I'm thinking, are we serious? Do you know what you're talking about? You're talking about people according to Baba Kitoye. Let me read that again. According to our very powerful ancient traditions, gẹ́gẹ́ bí ntí àwọn ọ̀ràn bàbá ńlá wa, mo dẹ̀ kí gbogbo àwọn balẹ̀ Yorùbá, mo ṣí fìlà fáwọn orí adé, mo kí ọba Bàrígà pé ẹ ṣé gan ni tẹ́ bá wa lọ sí ìlú Èkìtì, mo kí ọba wa Ọọ̀ni of Ifẹ̀ Ọ̀jájá the second tí mo ṣí fìlà fórí adé, mo kí ọba Lùjálẹ̀, mo kí ọba Láké, mo kí gbogbo ọba pátá, mo kí bàbá wa ọba ìlú Ìgbòho. According to our ancient tradition, our ìran Yoruba, we are the oldest people. Nigeria is just 110 years old. Why then must we continue with Nigeria? Oh, because your pastor say we shouldn't fight Nigeria. We are not fighting Nigeria. We are just asking for our identity. A stolen identity by the British. That's all we are asking for. That is not violent. Oh, but Koiki bí wọ́n ṣe máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn, òun ogun ń bọ̀. No, ogun òde ní Nigeria. You all are hungry. Kò sóúnjẹ ní Nigeria. The insecurity, the economy. So let's tell us again. I understand when we say Yoruba people will not achieve, let me put it that way, our full potentials if we remain in Nigeria. We cannot, because kí ló ń pè ní orílẹ̀-èdè? Orílẹ̀-èdè, a language. Can I go to France and start speaking German and tell them that I want them to communicate back with me in German? They will say that I need to be taken to a mental home, because that means I have a problem. This is a French country. You speak France. I mean, this is a French country. You will speak French. Bonjour. Comment t'appelles-tu? Je m'appelle Yomi. That's all I understand. Okay, you understand Hausa, but that does not mean you are Hausa man. Or you understand Igbo. Yoruba people understand Igbo, that does not mean you are an Igbo. You are not. Oh, we have some Igbo people, they live with us for donkey years, they speak Yoruba. That does not mean that they are Yorubas. You will only become a Yoruba probably through marriage. That's all. But when we go back to your bloodline, like Obasanjo is not a true Yoruba man. That is why he cares less and says that he believes in one Nigeria and Yoruba-ness. He's an Igbo man. Moki Mr. Juwon Oluwafemi. So what is difficult to understand there? Yoruba nation is not having any clash with any Christianity. I understand that some of our medias could be a little bit, overdrive. Christianity Oshiye, Christianity Togbewa. And I've always said to them, let us temper that area, because people will always think that we are attacking people because of that religion. No, Yoruba people have been existing before the Christian and Islam came in. You want to be a Muslim? Be a Muslim. You want to be a traditionalist? Why not? You want to be a Christian? You want to be an atheist? Hindu? Do you know how many religions are around the world? Believe in your own faith. Argue within your own faith. Don't use your faith to attack other faiths. You will not do that in Europe. Then why are we doing it in Nigeria? Because Nigeria is a lawless country. When we have a Yoruba country, we will have a moderate right for you to practice your religion without anybody interfering. A nation, state, country, commonwealth are all separate terms. So when people say Nigeria is a country, where? How? Give us the argument. So let's go back to New Caledonia. But remember that there is an overseas territories. Overseas territory. UK has an overseas territory, just like Macron. Macron traveled. Macron did not travel 30 minutes to the next province where there's a problem. He left France, 18 hours travel by plane to New Caledonia, because during that era, when they were doing exploration, I don't even know why we didn't do exploration and also kidnap European countries and name it as our own. I don't know how we didn't do that. Because the reason why we are all fighting each other as Yoruba people today is because the Europeans created why we are arguing with ourselves on that stupid contraption known as Nigeria, a zoological country, a country that does not have iota of truth or respect for the people. But Yoruba people, learned Yoruba people, and then argue with me and say that, oh, Koiki, no, shut up your mouth. We just love the way Nigeria is crafted, and we would all make it work. Are you crazy? How are you going to make it work? Under what terms and conditions? A country that does not have the same responsibility as the indigenous people inside it. Yet, around 1713, about 14th century ago, British created a territory known as Gilberta, and as of today, that territory has 32,000 people. They have a governor, they have a government in place, and then somebody say, no, Yoruba people cannot govern themselves. Sometimes Yoruba when we have Yoruba country, who is going to be our governor, our president? But Gilberta is 32,000. They have operation that is going on. It was captured by Spain in 1704. But because of the crime of the same Europeans, they were all criminals. It doesn't matter which of them. All the Europeans were criminals. They were using Africa for their own resources, for their own benefit. The British created a British railway in Nigeria, not for me and you, for the purpose. It was for the purpose of moving our resources from where it was straight to the port and taking it out of their country. They created slave trade. Millions of innocent people died. In their millions, Church of England was involved. Not because I hate Christian. I just want you to know that Church of England was involved in the slave trade and they've apologized. But the British system have not officially apologized for the slave trade. Is it the slave mentality? Mukiawa Shirley 207. Ṣé ló ṣì ń dá wa láàmú? Ẹ̀gbọ́n Yorùbá tèmi sọ dáadáa. But àwọn mídíà wa tó kù ń ṣàlàyé fún yín dáadáa lédè Yorùbá tẹ́ gbọ́. Ìbá tèmi bá lè sọ ni má lè sọ. At least I'm trying my best. Aṣáṣe ń sọ díẹ̀díẹ̀ tẹ́ ń gbọ́. Tàbá tẹ́ ń sọ òyìnbó kátakátá. English is not our first language. Èdè Yorùbá ìyẹn ló ṣe sọ pé orílẹ̀-èdè èdè. Which part of Nigeria ló ń sọ èdè kan náà? And we call it Nigeria. Èdè is what you speak out. Language, which is what makes it a country. You go to Belgium, they have a language. You go to Germany, you dare not go and be speaking English, and you say you want to live there. Go to Japan and start telling them you want to speak English. Yesterday, I had the privilege, like I said, to be with some elderly Englishmen. Because, like I said, the election is coming, and I'm going around UK to do as much of some kind of work I'm doing. Hopefully, it will pop up at some point, but it's not in the public domain right now. And I was with some Englishmen yesterday. And during my conversation with them, it comes off one way. They are Japanese and Koreans. Do you know that they bring them to UK because the nature of the job they're coming to do in UK, they need people that understand that language to set up the business here. So, Oana Olojoni, a Chinese restaurant somewhere in Liverpool Street. I don't know which one. Only but I want no be. Only to go back àwọn Chinese tó tẹ̀ láwọn wọnú bẹ̀ láti ibi iṣẹ́ yẹn because òun nìkan ní English tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ níbi iṣẹ́ yẹn. The whole menu was in Chinese. How do you then? Okay, let us say a restaurant in Lagos. You went in there, you're expecting to see the menu, and the menu is written in Yoruba without no translation, and you are not a Yoruba man or Yoruba woman, or you are not even familiar with anything known as that language. How do you make the order of the food without the support of the waiter or waitresses? Moki Babawa Leo Abdulrazak. Let me say it in English so that it will kind of bring everybody on board. There's a new restaurant that has opened. I will just call it Koikimedia restaurant. And it's open somewhere in Lagos Island. Talk of the town. Everybody wants to go there. But the majority of the people that have been going there are Yoruba people that can read the menu. Now, an Englishman arrived in Lagos and he has heard about this Koikimedia restaurant somewhere in Lagos Island. And he wanted to explore it. On getting into the restaurant, he sat down. He was given the menu. Everybody knows the meaning of menu. I know it's not like the buka, but sometimes you see the buka also have, but if you go to proper fine dining, to my wine, to my knee, fork and knife, fine dining, you will get a menu. When the menu was presented to this Englishman with his family, they've sat down, and the whole menu is written in Yoruba language. No English. Ẹ̀bà tewédú, ẹ lè fi pọ̀nmọ́ jẹ, à ń ta àsáró, a ní mọ́ínmọ́ín, a ní ewé ẹlẹ́kọ, a ní ìgbèrèkú, a ní àkàrà, a ní àsáró, à ń ta. How do you expect this Englishman to understand it? How is he going to make the order? Can somebody help me in the comment section, please? Mr. Perry said, to order such a food would be very difficult to the Englishman to read Yoruba writing menu in Koikimedia restaurant. Help me to please write it in the comment section. Alan Conde say, one language, one culture, one heritage. That is a core union. Mr. Warisne, like most Chinese restaurant menu to the West, are translated into English. Maybe you didn't hear what I just said. I have just opened a fine dining of about 50 people in one go. It is the talk of the town. An Englishman heard about it. That is a new fine dining somewhere in Lagos. He has come on a business trip into Nigeria. He has traveled to that fine dining. He has sat down. He was presented with the menu. And the menu is in Yoruba language. How is he going to make the order? Danielo Edesope, we start pointing fingers to the food of your choice without knowing what he wants to eat. Give me that one. What is it that he wants to eat? This is the reason why Tashin sọ pé ìyá mi Oyèrónkẹ́ Ọláníyan sọ pé ìyẹn máa le díẹ̀ o. This is the argument of why we need to get the hell out of Nigeria, because Nigeria doesn't represent any nation. Nigeria is multiple of nations, and it will dissolve. It will break up. What is, this? But that's a tough question. I need people to help me out here. I want to order a food, but I am an Englishman, but the menu is in Yoruba language. Okay, let's put it this way. I've gone to the north, and I'm told that there's a nice restaurant that sells a lot of good things. And I went there in Kano. But when I was given the menu as a Nigerian, the menu was in Hausa. Can somebody help me? How do I make my order? That even if I want tuwo, but the tuwo is written in Hausa, how do I know which one is tuwo shinkafi, which is one of their favorite food in the north? Why then are we not trying to go back? So going back to New Caledonia, because I want to talk about it. New Caledonia is a French territory comprising dozens of islands in the South Pacific. It is known for the palm line, beaches, marine life, rich lagoon. Yami comfort me, the staffs on ground will be trained to help him out, as simple as that. That means that white man or that Englishman cannot understand the language of the menu, but yet he would have the staff trained in another language, which is English, to translate to the Englishman. But if it was the Yoruba people that went there, because many Yoruba people today are brilliant. But you know why we are not making any money? Is because our language is a barrier. You go to the bank. I'm sure some of you have seen the video we posted yesterday. Our people put money in the bank. Their wages was put in the bank. But when they go to the bank, they are not speaking Yoruba. They're communicating in English. Mr. Michael Yekinini, waya tete bi Hausa koba ka iwunje fun e. And I think most of you understand that argument. That language is the key. So why is Macron in the New Caledonia with a population of 269,220 with an area of 15,579? It was annexed by France on the 24th of September 1853. And let's go and look at the meaning of annexed. The word
annex.
ANNEX, Alpha November Echo X-ray. This is Koikimedia Live. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI, self-determination of the Yoruba people.
Annex.
What is the meaning? Add as an extra or subordinate part, especially to a document. The first 10 amendments were annexed to the Constitution in 1979 or 71. Add territory to one's own territory. Maybe Yoruba people should have claimed part of English territory. I don't know why Baba Awolowo, when they came here in the 50s, they could have just gone somewhere and just put our map there and say, right from today, we own this territory. Maybe Baba Awolowo should have done that. Maybe Zik should have done that. Maybe Tafa Balewa. Three of them should have annexed part of this country as our own. And we start fighting it out and say, we own it. Are you understanding what I'm saying now? Bóyá nígbà táwọn Baba Awolowo in the 50s, in the 40s, or whenever they were coming here, they should have just put a stick with our map and dig it there and say, Yoruba people, from today, we own this territory. And we will annex it. And we start fighting it. And we will bring violence or our military to invade it. Because that is exactly what the British did in Nigeria. Nigeria was invaded by the British. We welcomed them as friends, but we didn't know that they have a hidden agenda. Mutike Triple DRS, my brother, love you so much. Koikimedia, and likewise every single one of you. So the word
annex,
according to international law, annexation in international law is the forcible accusation and assertion of a legal title. Many of you today fight against your father's property, your mother's property. Somebody wants to take it. Why are you fighting against it? Why not let it go? Somebody has come to your territory and say, I own this building. Do you know that in Lagos State, this house is not for sale? Why do they put it there? Because somebody wants to sell it and it doesn't belong to them. The same way Nigeria was sold. And we are now saying, okay, we agree that it was sold out in 1949, 1914 amalgamation. Let us bring it back. Not buy it back. Let's take it back to where it was. But Nigerians say, no, we will just be running election every... Look, Igbo will never be a president in Nigeria. Take it to the bank. The Yoruba is the last person to be a Nigerian president. After Tinubu, it will be difficult for the next Yoruba person to be president because the North will change a lot of things. You might say, Koiki, they play. I know that is the language a lot of you use in Nigeria. Koiki, could possible. You don't know, could possible. Okay. Tinubu will be the last president from the Yoruba side. The North will not want the power to return back to any part of Nigeria. Not even, look, the Igbos, they've been cut out completely. And I'll tell you why. Let's go on my Instagram quickly. Because I love to take you bit by bit. I've not left the New Caledonia. It is still our focus point. What is happening in New Caledonia, just to brief you quickly, so that Koiki, fún wa kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ níbẹ̀ because kan sọ New Caledonia kò yé wa, ó ti ṣàlàyé bẹ̀ fún wa, kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ níbẹ̀ gangan. Maybe we should deal with that before I move to the next slide. Emmanuel Macron tries, ó ń gbìyànjú láti lè dákun wàhálà tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ ní rògbòdìyàn. I'm just trying to explain it in my own little Yoruba. Because if I start saying it in English, Koiki, English to man sort of pọ̀jù ní program ẹ̀, máa bá wa sọ Yorùbá díẹ̀díẹ̀. That is why I'm doing this translation. We have not started this in Nigeria as our campaign. Many people want us to be in that section. And I'm being honest with you. Many Yoruba people want us to be in the same situation as the New Caledonia. But Baba Akintoye is up with no. Let us not go through the violent way. Let us go through the non-violent way to push for our right. But I can tell you that millions of Yoruba people that believe in the self-determination want us. When they say action, when people are saying action, that word action means that let's scatter every goddamn thing. And I'm not speaking on my behalf. I'm saying this is what millions of Yoruba people want right now, especially those that want Yoruba nation. But Babakitoye and Igboho says no. Igboho was at home to bury the mother. He says, a lè gbẹ̀tọ́ wa láì yìnbọn, a lè gbẹ̀tọ́ wa láì pààyàn kankan, a lè gbẹ̀tọ́ wa láì dàlúrú. That will be with full understanding of what we are doing to our people, because everybody wants it to be violent, and I'm not joking. Majority of Yoruba people wọ́n fi jẹ́ kí gbogbo ẹ̀ kó dàrú, kí gbogbo ẹ̀ máa gbóná, ká bà nǹkan jẹ́, ká, but Igboho sọ pé no. Mo kí Mr. Kolawole Kosoko. Igboho said no. A lè gbé ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì dá lóru. You all remember that video? Mo kí ẹ Ọ̀nàchítà. Alan Conde went further to say, since Yoruba became Nigeria in 1960, what do we gain from it? My boss asked me to point just one great thing that happened to my people in Yoruba land. And there's nothing great apart from mystery. So going back to, before I take you to, but let me search that ready because I'm going to need it. Like I said, when is Ijaw people going to become a president in Nigeria? Yoruba people, when are they going to be president? Do you think that they will be president? Okay. I just want to get that ready. Yeah, I found it, and I'll tell you about it in a minute. But let's focus back again on the New Caledonia. If you are coming to the platform, Moki Grandma Leaja Yekaro, if you're new to this platform, this is a self-determination platform, Koikimedia, 4:26 a.m. Today's the 24th, May 2024. It's a Friday. New Caledonia, as we said earlier, is one of the French territory. And we have looked at the word annexed. The meaning of annexed, according to the English dictionary, also known as annexation, ANNE X-ray Alpha Tango Indigo Oscar November. Annexation or
annex.
What does it mean? In international law, is a forcible accusation and assertion of a legal title over one state territory by another state. So France left their own territory, 16,000 kilometers, and then went and take somebody else's territory and then annex it in 1853. Waris Jinode says, makes no difference which tribe or ethnic elected as British Nigerian president, the script remained the same. If you share it, it brings more people in to understand why the country needs to dissolve. There is no amount of president that comes in that will change anything. Mr. Aliu, your Instagram. I am OLAYOMI KOIKI. Olayomi, not Olayemi, not Olayomi Koiki, popularly known as Koikimedia and not Koikimedia. Koikimedia, a full blood of Yoruba man from Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State, southwest part of what is known as fraudulent country called Nigeria. Ijebu Wall is far better than the Great Wall of China. Much better than the pyramid. But the reason why nobody's talking about it is because Nigeria suppressed it down. Let us have a Yoruba independent country and let us open that place out, just as many other places in Ondo State, Ekiti, Osun, with many fantastic places for tourism. billions of dollars will roll in. You would have a job, you would have opportunity, but most of you have been deprived from not getting this message. Safety Domain said the inclusion of Yoruba in the amalgamation of Nigeria has brought no good to us. It has been a waste of time, lives, and opportunity to live to our full potential. And that's why I said, I am not cursing us. Neither I'm not saying this because I live 3,000 miles away. Just raising whether your life on the program, program Nigeria. I understand. Agreed, but we will not achieve our full potentials under that fraudulent amalgamation with our own identity still locked inside Nigeria. The longer Tobashin Nigerians, oh, where are you from? I'm from Nigeria. Oh, Nigeria. Oh, I know Nigeria. Are you Igbo? No, I'm not Igbo. You Hausa? No. Yoruba? Which one is Yoruba? Oh, Yoruba. Oh, Yoruba. Oh, Yoruba. I used to work with Yoruba people. But imagine if they say, where are you from? I'm from Yoruba Kingdom, Oduduwa Republic. Mokiba Baba Seni and Lee, good morning. Where are you from? I'm from Biafra. Where are you from? I'm from Edo Nation. Why not? Obaseki, I did a program on it. Obaseki said, I am a true Edo man before Nigeria. Uncle Bola said the same thing. Why then are we trying to save Nigeria? Benny. So, New Caledonia was annexed by France September 24th, 1853. As at that time, 1853, it was nothing called Nigeria. Nigeria came in 19th century when they were stealing, kidnapping, destroyed kingdoms for their own selfish interests. The British did a lot of that. It was an evil British system that created the monster in most of us today. Oh, Koiki, you are too violent. No, that is what the British created. They wanted us to be monster, even though we know that we are Omoluabis. We love each other. We love, Yoruba people love each other and love other people. Forget about all the nonsense anybody can tell you, whether they are Igbo telling you that nonsense, whether they are Hausa telling you that nonsense. Yoruba people are kind-hearted people. The British created the other side of us. And we remain very, very loyal to ourselves. Shut up. That is what the British wanted us to be like. Because they know that the moment that we will be a country of our own, we will surpass a lot of the European countries and the Asian and many more around the world. We are very, very intellectual. We have been well read. We have traveled. Dada is as loud as I can, and remember, it is early hours of the morning. I cannot go and raise my voice more than this. There might be no singing. If you can't hear me, it's probably your device. Other people can hear me. I'm talking about somebody on Instagram. Or go on the other platform where I'm also streaming. I can't go more than this voice. We are good people. Mr. Michael Robinson, good morning. Waris Zinado said, don't forget that New Caledonia owed the Nika World Reserve. I don't even know what that is. But I know that every territory around the world, something was created for them to use to look after their people. But the reason why our own people are suffering is because the Nigeria took away a lot of what belongs to us. Even our kindness has now put us in trouble till date. Part of our kindness has put us in trouble. Lára pé à ń ṣe ìgbìyànjú a nífẹ̀ẹ́ àwọn èèyàn ó ti kó wa sínú wàhálà táwa lẹ́nu. But a máa bọ́ lágbára Elédùmarè. a máa bọ́ lórúkọ Jésù Kristi, a máa bọ́ inshallah, a máa bọ́ látara pé oore la ṣe fáwọn òyìnbó tó wá fi ibi san fún wa. Oore la ṣe fún wọn tó wá fi ibi san fún wa, tó wá fi di pé ìran wa wá ń jìyà lẹ́nu. Our people should not be suffering. Everybody knows that. Why should I be sending money to somebody in Nigeria when Yoruba land has money to look after me when I'm outside Nigeria? New Caledonia owes about 20 to 30% of the world's nickel reserves. Àwọn amúnisìn. You think your politician loves you? Okay, I'm told by Tony Ages that that is what is used for making small batteries. Àwọn battery kékèké yẹn. So the meaning of that word that was sent to me by Waris Jinadu, somebody has explained that it is used for our battery tó máa wà nínú rédíò yìí. Ẹ mọ àwọn kìíní dúdú tó máa wà nínú ẹ̀. Everybody around the world has something to look after their people. The English people are very bitter and angry as I speak to you today. I am engaging them. They are not happy that as English people, they are suffering in their country. The abject poverty in this country. How can the nurses that are working 12 hours on the shift, looking after people, would then end up going to get food at the food bank in the UK? Do you know the amount of people that are homeless in the UK? Sometimes I do ask myself, are we still in the UK? A country that is meant to look after the people. But the 4th of July, whether it will make any changes or not, but power might change, I don't know. But the English people, I can tell you, they are not happy. Mr. Bamidele Aleni, Yoruba people are suffering a lot, home and abroad. We abroad are suffering more than you. The only thing is that you can't see it in our face because the weather has covered it up and the clothes that we put on. There are many Yoruba people that are going through a lot of mental problem outside because of you at home trying to make sure that you can survive at least, because the system is not there to look after you. So let's move swiftly and talk about Macron before I tell you the reason why Igbos will never be a president in Nigeria. There's a lot of hatred among all those called Nigerians. So whether you are thinking of Peter Obi or not, he will not be given a chance to be the president. Whether he merged with Atiku is not the issue. Peter Obi should be talking about the dissolution of Nigeria, but he will not, because it's part of the system, the script. Peter Obi is one of them, just like many other politicians from the south to the southeast, to the southwest, to the north. Your politicians are not fighting for you. They are fighting on behalf of the colonial masters. They follow the script, just as Tinubu is doing at the moment. And I've told you, Tinubu is a weak element. And he remains a weak element because he has nothing to offer the Yoruba people. But Yoruba people say, I am telling lies. His 1 year in office is just about 5 days from today. Maximum, Tinubu will use 8 years. He would hand over just like Obasanjo, just like the late Yaradua, just like Jonathan, just like dead or alive Buhari, and the North power returned back to them. El Rufai and the others are already waiting. The North are already strategizing to take the power back. Whatever Tinubu moves out of Abuja will be returned. The Yoruba people will no longer be Inspector General of Police. The Northerners will put their own in there. And that goes the other way around. So continue to say you want one Nigeria. There will never, never be unity and peace until the dissolution of Nigeria. It's a fact. The reason why New Caledonia is going through a lot of unrest that has now made Macron to travel to that region? I'm going to tell you now. Emmanuel Macron tries to ease the New Caledonian crisis after a deadly unrest. The French president promised not to immediately force through electoral reform that sparked riots in the Pacific territory. Once again, a very good morning and welcome to my live broadcast. If you're new to this platform, all you can do for me is just to share and invite maybe your friends, uncles, and brothers to come and listen to Koikimedia. Because Koikimedia is the platform that educates you on all the reasons in the world why Nigeria must now come into the fact that it is not working and it can never work, and we must allow it to go. There is no amount of your prayer there's no amount of prayer that could save Nigeria anymore. It is going down. How fast it goes down is what I don't know. What I do know is that Nigeria will go down finally. Mr. Adebisi Boboye. And for those of you watching me on my laptop, which eventually I'll be posting that when we complete this program on YouTube, because the YouTube is on the phone, you will see Macron in that image later on. So let's go back to it. The Financial Times headline: Emmanuel Macron, the French president, arrived in the New Caledonia as he tries to ease the crisis after the deadly unrest. French president promises not to immediately force through electoral reform that actually sparked riots in the Pacific territory. French President Emmanuel Macron has promised not to immediately force through a controversial electoral reform in the New Caledonia after an 18-hour visit to the Pacific archipelago aimed at easing a political crisis that sparked deadly rioting. The territory, which is strategically important to the French military. Did you hear the word? This is what many Yoruba people need to understand. British need Nigeria for their strategic importance. America need Nigeria for their strategically important, and likewise all other countries that are friends to Nigeria today. The territory, which is strategically important to the French military and is also home to vast nickel reserve, which is what we've been told is used for minting coins, in provincial coins. How many of you know what is coins? I don't know whether Nigeria still use coins, but in UK, even the smallest 5p is still valuable. I always try to have one in my bag. Don't know whether it's still there. The smallest coins in this country is very, very important. I've been just trying to get something. All right, doesn't seem to be in this bag for whatever reason. But you all know what is coins. Coins, yes. In the UK, if you go out to buy something and you don't have the full 1p, just 1p, go to Asda, go to Tesco, go to any of your stores and buy something, get to the checkout, and is left with 1p, and ask yourself whether it will go through. All right, I don't know what my one pound is. I have it somewhere, but I can't find it. But let's see if I have in this other bag. I must have some coins somewhere. A very good morning. As we continue our daily update and education around reason why Yoruba Nation is to go. Moki will go into my two program. The most important thing you can do for me is to remember to share and invite your friends. That's strange. I'm sure I had one thing. Sure, I had a coin somewhere, yeah? So one in talking coins is also known as nickel reverse. Baba me kunle shita mokensa. I don't know. Seems not to find my coins. That's strange. Because I know I normally have one that we use. All right, I might have to bring it here because I know that, so I don't know. So maybe we put it close to me like this. That's how far I can do. So fully get my abomination. Is the phone down low? I think if one support Kalira phone to. So all right, I don't know where the coins are. So let's just move on. Now if I move a little from here, I will find the coins. But I don't know where the coins are right now. It's good to show you the coins. I might have to stand up and look for another one. Alright, let's do something. Let me not be lazy. Let me go and get the coins. I need to show the coins because I love practical on my program. But that's the only way you all can understand what we're talking about. If it's a waste of time. 1 minute. Let's get the coins. Let's get the coins. These coins must just that it's not close to me. Remember, don't let anybody fool you. So this is British 1p. I'm sure you can all say it. Phone yani koda. If I have a good phone, then I'm going to properly. But because the phone is a very small little phone, so that's what it's loud. It's the loudest, and I can't shout because the family is sleeping. So this is 1p. This 1p, from what I'm told, in the whole world, in terms of produce kini, only France fake paranole lori. Yeah, you can go on Facebook. I have about almost 9 platform Latin stream. So if the Instagram is not okay, you can join another Instagram, which is OLAYOMI KOIKI. So yeah, I need like to talk or CP by. And I don't want to be distracted too much because we have limited time. So if you're having problem with one platform, just go on another platform. There's 2 Instagram. There's one OLAYOMI KOIKI. Follow that or join me on YouTube. So in Tofinshe Kini, Okpon in New Caledonia. This 1p, do you know it's still value? Bushiwai, if I go to any store within my vicinity, I'm not talking about 2p. The smallest denomination of money in the UK on the way, 1p. Okay, yeah, 1p, no, 1p, yeah. One need to buy G1p, you can go to jail in this country. I'm just being told now. Even go to jail for looting such. You can literally be sentenced to community service. But one shop can G1 1p. I'm not like this is 2p. Shall we size a yato? In turn of in coins and the whole coins around the world. Even if France it feel way and all the territory. Tiwo annex in 1853. Wow, good morning from Kuwait. Mr. Nuruddin, ṣàlàáfíà lẹ wà? Ṣé ẹ̀ ń ríṣẹ́ díẹ̀díẹ̀ ṣe lọ́hùn? Ọlọ́run bá ń dúró ti gbogbo yín tẹ́ wà káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé àti gbogbo yín tẹ́ wà ní African countries. This little money, very little. If I go to the store and I want to buy this item, I'm sure most of you like, kilo man low. This is Vaseline. It's just to keep this moisture so that it's already in the UK. You gotta keep it moisture, if not, it might be a problem. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé títí dé Saudi Arabia. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin Muslim wa pé àkópalẹ̀mọ́ Jímọ̀ tèmi. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn àfáà ńláńlá. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn sheikh tó ti lọ. Mo kí àwọn Christian. What God cannot do does not exist. If I go to my local store and I'm short of 1p, I cannot buy this item. And if I steal it because I don't have 1p, I will be sentenced for community service or one as first timer. Why are we saying this? Because we're talking about an indigenous territory known as New Caledonia. And right now, there's a big unrest in that territory. And the reason why there's a big unrest is because the indigenous people are not comfortable and they're not happy. Originals say copper, nickel, magnesium, zinc from minting UK, US coins worldwide. Thank you so much for all this information, because all this helps us as well. Because nickel, I didn't know what it was, and it's spelled Nickel. French. This territory is strategically important to the French military. It's also known to the vast nickel reserve. Tofinche copper, Tofinche 1p, Tofinche àwọn owó coins ní gbogbo àgbáyé. So you can see why when we tell you pé Nigeria is also strategically for the Europeans. I'm even told that it's normally used for many things like electroplating and food industry. France are doing the same like UK. Thank you so much, Mr. Tony Aegis. That this particular nickel is used for a lot of things. Keke Oku said that is why the French government contacted the Australia and the New Zealand government to send their troops to safeguard that country. You can see why they are. Thank you so much, Keke Okus. If you can't hear me very well, please, I might be, let me move it close to me. But that is how far I can do. That is the reason why. Because the day Nigeria goes the other way around, separate, people that owns their resources, we use it for the purpose. Why do you think Niger has sent out the French and the Americans out of their territory? Niger, which is just a small country, told America to toss off, told France to get out. Why do you think so? It's because they have a good reserve. Various, the brother Ebomi, I forgot that their own natural resources. Massive natural resources. Uranium. Niger had vast amount of uranium, just as New Zealand had. What these Europeans have done is that during that exploration deposit, uranium deposit, thank you so much. They've come to pick my bean. But that services must be delivered. So the council comes in, takes the rubbish and take it out so that there will not be smelly. Only grandma mi kan tó máa ń gbọ́ mi láti somewhere in Ogun State. Only Koiki, Abeokuta is so dirty. I'm sorry for those of you in Abeokuta. Rubbish, garbage everywhere. Mr. Testimony Oguntona sọ pé lithium, they also have lithium. I enter our Instagram, it's gonna go, we'll come back on again because 1 hour no man from our Instagram and we're already 2 hours to the program. I'll try to push it to 3 hours so we have the last hour. So these programs end at 6 o'clock. So in America, you'll probably be sleeping around 1 o'clock, or if not, you can come back and watch the last part of the program. But these programs end in the next 1 hour, and then we'll come back for more program again as we do during the day. The reason why I'm taking time to explain all this is because if you think that the Europeans love you so much, no, they don't love you. Why do you think the Chinese, or China rather, if I want to put it that way, why do you think China is going all over Africa for their resources? We give you money, we move your resources. So let's go back to New Macron because I want to go into the next slide of the next 1 hour, which I want to now focus because that is 2 hours. So I want to focus now on the Babakitoye message to us. The territory, which is strategically important to the French military, is also home to vast nickel reserves, has been riven with unrest since the mid-May, when Macron's government pushed ahead with a plan to change the constitution to expand the voting franchise for the local election. So what is just happening in that area is that àwọn kan wà tó ń pè ní indigenous people of àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n ní ká focus lé lórí. So they are known as indigenous people of Kanak. Àwọn wo ló ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀? The Kanaks, which is Kanks, báwa náà ṣe sọ pé ọmọ Yorùbá ni wá, proud Yorùbá people. Waris Dinozo sọ pé all the world conflict or trade war is always about land, omi, and the resources. The whole problem around the world today, I love to always show you my small little map. I got a big one there. Gbogbo tó ń fa wàhálà ìdààmú lẹ́nìí ní gbogbo àgbáyé tó fi ń jalè káàkiri. It's about your resources. Steal the crude oil, steal your gold, steal your uranium, steal your, bitumen, steal the water, and then make you poor. That is the problem around the world today. And the only thing we can do to stop it is to ask for our right for the dissolution of some part of what was created in 1884, known as the Berlin Conference. So just to talk about the Kanik people for the next 3 minutes, and then we'll move straight to our own last part of the program, which is the topic this morning that stated clearly. Like I said, I will treat that topic as much as possible before we move to the next topic. So the topic this morning is path to prosperity in our ORILEEDE Yoruba. We are a nation with proud roots and a proud history. Triple DRS, you're right. They are so selfish and greediness. Many British people are poor because the British government continue to create more billionaires while British people remain poor. And I'm not joking, poor. I've been traveling lately, meeting true indigenous British people. They are not happy with their government. And when they are not happy, I'm wondering, somebody like me that's a foreigner, what should I be doing? So let's talk about the Kanak people quickly before we stop from the New Caledonia and come back to the Yoruba nation. The Kanaks are the indigenous Melanesian inhabitants of the New Caledonia. And when I say fight, French government have never seen such in the last 30 years. They are fighting because the French or France, let me put it that way, France, often change the constitution that allows people that are not indigenous people to vote. This is why some people are concerned that some part of Yoruba land today is no longer in our control. Because if people say we should restructure Nigeria, you will still lose your ground. Because a restructured Nigeria does not change your constitution. Nigerians will still have opportunity to go anywhere they want to go and do whatever they want to do. Yes, you can still do the same when we have our country and countries out of Nigeria, but you would go and respect the constitution and the right of the indigenous people. As I live in UK, I respect the right of the British law and the true indigenous people. Mukiawa Elizabeth, good morning to you as well. And happy birthday in advance. Okay, well, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. Next week, Friday, is my birthday, is it? Somewhere around there. Owo ni mo need. Owo atadura. Owo to podada. So, any person that wants to celebrate my birthday next week, just say Koiki, that's £500 in your account. That's 1 million naira in your account. All I need for my birthday next week Friday, God willing. Moki Obantonshi birthday not in Monty, and as those of you are preparing. My brother Ayuba Triple DRS also went further. Let me quickly read that before I go. The restructure is like a new wine in the old bottle. So that is about the Kanik people. Let's talk about Awati Wanise. So we're gonna read again. It won't be long. Along the line, I'll see if I can be doing some explanation. So that is in English, but my try to share as much of the Yoruba translation. Before. My Yoruba is not as good as some others. It's because that is what the British created. Yoruba should have been our language to study physics, chemistry, biology, government. The Chinese will never use English for their studies in China. The Germans will never use English for their studies. If you go to Germany, you must understand their A, B, C to Z in Germany or German. You go to Belgium, Australia, many of these European countries, Latvia, don't speak English. English is not our language. We Yoruba are a nation with proud roots and a proud history. We Yoruba are a nation with a long and proud history. According to our very powerful ancient traditions, we Yoruba are the oldest people or the first of the humans in the world. Those traditions tell us that in the beginning of time, nígbà tí wọ́n máa dá ayé, the world that we are living today, we are the oldest, but we are still the backward because the script country put together by Britain under the fraudulent slave trade for thousands of years, under the fraudulent amalgamation, would the new British Prime Minister allow Nigeria to be dissolved? Is a question. Many Yoruba people have come to me and say, Koiki Angbokwe, there's a new Yoruba political party in UK. Yes. Does it have anything to do with self-determination? I will probably say no, but what those that are behind it says it would be an advantage to have our own MP that can then argue about our demands inside the parliament if their candidate wins as an MP. Who is the leader of this Yoruba political party? Is Bashegun. I'm sure most of you have known him. You've seen the videos of him in the past. He was one time the leader of the group of Ilana in UK until the whole Ilana UK did not function as it's meant to be. He has established, or shall I say, he has set up a political party, but calling it Yoruba political party here in the United Kingdom, not in Nigeria. It has nothing to do with Nigeria. There's two different laws. is operating with the UK electoral law. He's not going to give anybody EPA and Guguru to vote for them if they have a candidate. He has meant to come on our program, but I've been slightly busy to bring him on to come and have a conversation with us. But I'm finalizing that, and hopefully, now that the election has been called, it will be important that I bring Bashegun so that we can hear what all this UK Yoruba political party means. He has spoken in some platforms. They've reached out to me that they want to come on my platform and have a conversation. I've brought him in before under Ilano Omo Oodua as their coordinator. Let me use that word, not leader, because we only have one leader. Babakito is only the leader. So, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn ti ń béèrè pé Koiki kò yé wa this Yoruba political party. And we got to be very careful. We got to know, is this part of Yoruba nation? Has he consulted with Babakitoye? I don't have all this answer. He would have to come and tell us. Was Babakitoye aware that they're setting up a political party, or he just, I mean, I live in UK, I can do whatever I want to do. But when you're using Yoruba nation and you're somebody that has been involved in the Yoruba nation struggle, people will always want to ask questions, especially we're talking about a movement. And a movement is not one person, but he has a leader. So whether Bashegun spoke with Babakitoye that he will be setting up a political party, or he just went ahead on his own as something that he wants to use towards self-determination, all these questions, I don't know. Mokibaba Nuruddin, Akimoyede, these are questions he would have to answer on his own when we finally, I don't know when I'm going to bring him on, but I will try and bring him on and we will ask him these questions. He has the right, like I said, to establish a political party with whoever he wants to. They have the right to campaign. It would have to be under the UK law, as a UK electoral system is not your INEC that is fraudster, criminals, and they call themselves professors. It would have to follow the due process of the country that is operating from, which is UK. But like I said, he's not the only one or the only political party that might be used or not for the purpose of self-determination. You can check out the Alba Party. They are based in Scotland. The Alba Party is not, yes, just reason, I'm going to bring him in. I'm going to bring him soon. I've just been, you can tell that I've been busy. And I told you that I will be busy at some point. Yoruba Nation is the only thing I talk about. I show you a lot of things just to make sure that your mind remains the same under this movement. If I'm not live every day, I am on every day on my platforms, especially on Twitter, known as X. It's entirely up to you to follow me, or you read about other things in my Instagram page. I don't have a TikTok. If anybody opens anything on my name on TikTok, it's your own problem, not mine. Our Facebook is operating. Likewise, our YouTube community. And my team are trying their best with the little resources. Media needs money. I keep telling you that. If we don't have money, we can't do much. We can only do what we can do. But that is not going to stop Koikimedia from self-determination. And I told you, I am the last man standing. And I know why I say that. Because I don't have any other thing to do than to talk about self-determination. And I will link self-determination with many things around me. The UK election is coming. Yoruba UK party. How is that going to be advantage? Remember that as a political party, they will be able to engage more with the UK Prime Minister. They'll be able to do more because it has been number 10 Downing Street. The reason why I have access to number 10 Downing Street is nothing more than the fact that, number one, UK knows that I am a media personnel, not just as me, but as my organization called Koikimedia, fully registered, filing my taxes on a yearly basis. We're not making money. We pray that in the future I can make enough money to expand the platform. That is why we have to come to you all every day to support these media to grow, especially now that we've dedicated it directly for the purpose of self-determination of the Yoruba people. But it's entirely up to you. But the reason why I have access to certain places is because of these. And because these also gives me, as part of the member of the press in the UK, you will not get into number 10 Downing Street without proper invitation. If you're not a media, you will need this press card. So a UK political party, from my understanding and from the little discussion I've had with Bashegun, like I said, was Babakitoye briefed about it? I don't know. I didn't ask him those questions, but those questions can be asked during a live transmission. But I hope they did. And if they haven't done so, probably they just feel it's not. I don't know. Mr. Bandele said, even incoming next government will revise all what is met on the table. That's what I said. Whoever becomes the next president will change everything that Bola Tinubu has put in place. So let's move forward. But before I move forward a little bit, let's just crack on that quickly before we get out of that, because in my log back, I was going to tell you something. Oseni Rufai is one of the journalists on Arise TV. I'm sure many of you know him. You know, he's always bashing the government. That's what journalism needs to do. Journalists are not meant to be friends. If we have a Yoruba country, our media will not be friends to a Yoruba government. We will be asking, we'll be dealing with them just as we expected to do as an independent media. The Yoruba will have their own media, like NTA works for Nigeria. But as an independent media in the future, Yoruba, no, we will be dealing with our Yoruba government, using our media for the same purpose and the right of the Yoruba people. So he did ask a question, and this is the question, and everybody knows Bashir Ahmed, that Awusa guy, or I don't know whether it's the Fulani, because their blood is no longer pure. We know that majority of them are Fulani, but they tend to pretend as if they are Awusas. And the Awusas have been subjugated, they have been chased away. The Awusa does not have the Awusa does not have any right on their territory. They've been kidnapped by the Fulanis. Ganduje, I know, is #1 Fulani. It's Ofenuare Soni. So I always try to use Ganduje, the former governor of Kano. And I can see that Ganduje will be very bitter. I don't care, that is their problem. That Moki brother Megbomi, the real no, Tojoneta. Remember to support this platform. Like I always say, it is very, very important. We need that money to grow. Without that money, we will continue to do the little we can do, and that's all I can say. Emir Sanusi has been returned back as the Emir. Remember that Ganduje York, the new governor, has installed Emir back. Well, somebody was asking what happened to the old Emir again. Well, he get dethroned, just the way Sanusi was dethroned. Moke Agbaje was still Femi. So I'm going to read that in a minute. Yorubani, good morning to you. Olanipekun, wealthy plenty, my brother Togemeta, good morning and thanks for joining. Don Kelvin, Copman, good morning. To all my Biafra brothers and sisters, I don't have problem with you, but like I always say, you must respect the Yoruba people. We are not, look, your fight and our fight is two different fights, but the same cause. You will fight it separately, we will fight our own separately, and we're going to meet at the center. But don't come and tell us, where's Igbowo? He's no longer doing Yoruba Nation. I will curse your father and your mother. And you can see that I've been very, very not be able to curse anybody in the last 2 hours. Don't come on our platforms and attack us, because Simon Ekpa will, and I mean it, Simon Ekpa will never attack Yoruba people that are doing Yoruba nation. He can attack other Yorubas. He has the right to do so because they're Afonjas, like he always called them. I don't care whatever names they use for them. As long as you believe in one Nigeria, you are one of those Afonjas. But if you believe in true Yoruba nation, Simon Ekpa will never. And I've followed him, and I follow him. And even sometimes he will put a note to say he's not talking to Yoruba nation believers. So if your government or your prime minister can do that, who are you to come and be telling us on our platform that this is how we have to do Yoruba nation? No, you don't. You are not our leader. Simon Ekpa is not our leader. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not our leader. You don't tell us how we would achieve our Yoruba nation. If you want to fight, you go and fight. We don't want to fight. That's our own problem. This is just a warning to most of the Biafrans that sometimes want to play those pranky. I will block you. You'll probably not be able to see my life. I don't care whoever you are. You are just not worth being part of this platform. But for the true Biafrans, those that know the meaning of the truth that we're talking about here, that respect us, I will stand with you. If the Yoruba people attack you, I will attack them on your behalf. I will go after them like the Think Yoruba Force. I don't care who they are. I will go after them on your behalf. And I'll leave it like that. So, Rufai posted this question, and Bashir Ahmed, you all remember him, former Buhari appointee, that they all turned Aso Rock to their own private accounts. Wasiu Taiwo, good morning. All the criminals that Buhari brought into the government. Sabiu, I'm sure most of you know them. So El Rufai posted this. When will a president of Igbo extraction become reality? With a question mark. I will just say pure no. There will never be an Igbo extraction president in Nigeria. Not because I don't want them to, it's because Nigeria does not want Igbo to become the president. You can argue on any length that because Igbo always have hidden agenda. Tinubu also have hidden agenda, okay? Buhari has hidden agenda. Obasanjo has hidden agenda. Everybody has hidden agenda. That is why we are not one. It's as simple as that. This is something that we must understand. Moke Bash Rhyme. Moke àwọn ìyàwó mi, moke àwọn ọmọ mi. Moke ìyá tó bí mi lọ́mọ. Moke gbogbo àwọn alásàlà tó káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé títí dé UK. Nigeria Muslim Association, moke gbogbo ẹ̀yin ìyá wa. And Bashir Ahmed comment back. This is what he had to say. When Igbo politicians stop seeing North as their enemy and work to secure the region's support, let me expatiate on that. And let me ask the question that El Rufai was saying. I'm sure most of you know, I don't have to show his face. Most of you know who I'm talking about. That brilliant journalist that talks on the Arise TV, only El Rufai Oseni, okay? Then, Anyton response in Bashir Ahmed. I know we've not used my software for a while. I've just been a little bit lazy, but I'm going to do some programs soon on the software that we can show you things at the background. But the Intel Lori Koikimedia. Okay, let me see if I can I save this? Okay, I can snip. That's the beauty of my laptop. There's something called snip tool. So I'm going to quickly snip to this so that Mofeki all appear lori programming. So we're going to do this. So my love see background. So later on when I post this video on YouTube, you on the other side that watch it again on YouTube will see it. But right now you cannot see it because I'm going to change my background. So let me bring this one in. All right, so now this is so Interwalori. Emma Benet Interwalori Koikimedia. You can't see it, but okay. Now let me bring this up a little bit. Now go up. Now Interwalori Koikimedia and Koikimedia. You can see it right there. Thank you so much once again. We are just 26 minutes to the end of this program. at exactly 3 hours on the dot, this program comes to an end. This is how Bashir Ahmed responded. Until táwọn Igbo politicians, and he's not talking to the Igbo politicians, he's actually referring to all the Igbos. Stop. Not. I'm asking the question now is, are we not enemies to each other? We are all enemies to each other. Thank you so much, Mr. Perry. Say, Mr. Koiki, you don't know the gratitude of what you're doing. Could you believe all what you're doing as awakening Hausa people, and they're attacking Fulanis, even giving them deadline to vacate their land? And it has to. And I love that my sister, Najatu, Baba Rolino Low program in Nijeta, she's doing very well. I've not seen her post for a while, but she's doing very well. And I'm sure Hausa people will wake up to the reality that we are not enemies to each other. It's just that we can't live together as one. But Bashir Ahmed also, based on the question, ìbéèrè tí El-Rufai béèrè ni pé, when will president, nígbà wo ni president máa wá láti ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn Igbo? And everybody will always have different arguments. Oh, Igbo people, Agunrosi destroyed the regional government as at the time. It was the one that took us away from the brilliant what the British created. British never created anything that was brilliant in the first place. Let's get that fact right. Yes, we were running a regional government until it was brought down, but we were never given our true identity because it was a theft in 1914. What the British should have said is that as you are all thinking of having independence, what is going to happen is Yoruba people go their separate ways. Igbo people, separate ways. Hausa, separate ways. And today, we will not even be talking about Agunrosi brought down the regional government. We will not have any problem in terms of as much of the problems that we're having today. If we need crude oil, we will buy it from the southeast, wherever it is. If we think that we don't have, look, America has enough crude oil. It's because they bought a lot, even though they have as well. If we need human expertise, we will go and bring people from the north, but we will make sure that every one of them are fingerprinted. Because I don't want them to come and commit crime on my territory. If I need Igbo people to come and trade with us, I will know that they're not selling anything that is fake. Our government will be able to deal with it. That is what we are saying. But the British knew that for them to keep that entity, the negotiation went in the line of regional government. But àwọn Yorùbá wá ní, they are waiting for Tinubu to return it back to regional government or a true federalism, whatever that means, or parliamentary system of government. But you are lying. Because the 1999 Constitution will never be brought down. The Northerners will not allow Tinubu to bring down the 1999 Constitution. They created the Constitution with the help of some fraudulent bastard Yoruba people that say they are lawyers and some other regional people like that. Because Yoruba people were part of those that wrote the Constitution. So the argument is that when you see this kind of conversation, okay, some might say, let Igbo people go and contest if they vote for them. No, nobody's going to vote for them. Yoruba people are not going to vote for Igbo. Igbo people might vote for Igbo. And for the Yorubas that are saying, we have Tinubu there, we are so... Moke Ubama Bawa, let me see, mo ṣe fìlà fún ẹ̀yin bàbá wa ORILEEDE, mo kí yín ní gbogbo àbá, gbogbo bí tí ẹ jọba lé lórí. Ẹ kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun ẹ̀yin kábíyèsí wa. Lóòótọ́ àti sọ̀rọ̀ sí yín rí, ọtí ní ká má sọ̀rọ̀ sí yín mọ́, because àmọ́ pé lábẹ́lẹ̀ ẹ̀yẹ sábà ìtẹ́bá lè máa ṣe ẹ̀bá máa ṣe nísàlẹ̀, káwa máa fọhùn síta. Gbogbo ẹni tó bá sọ pé ohun tí wọ́n ní jáde ìrọ̀lẹ́ pa. mo ní mi ní last man standing. Màá ṣí ọkàn yín kúrò látara èyí British create. So Bashir Ahmed, only the Igbo politicians must stop seeing the North as their enemy and work to secure the region's support. Ó ń sọ pé káwọn Igbo kó gain the support àwọn Northerner kó lè fi the president. So literally, the Igbos must go and be dobale, prostrate, beg El Rufai, beg Ahmed Lawan, beg all these criminal Northerners. So if Wike thinks that he will be president of Nigeria, Nigeria would have collapsed before that time. I pray Nigeria collapse before Tinubu time expire. But that is subject to if everybody agrees for us to go our separate ways. The Biafra are pushing. I pray that the effort of Simon Ekpa will bring Biafra to the dreams of the Biafrans as soon as possible. How soon, I don't know. I am not part of their government. I pray that the Hausas will wake up and fight back and defend their territory. British continue to support Israel. They've refused the same hypocrisy of the West by saying that African leaders can be put under ICC radar. But Netanyahu is doing the right thing and it cannot be put under that same. But they can put Russia. You know, Joe Biden was excited when ICC said that they are looking for international arrest warrant for Putin. But you saw Joe Biden coming out defending Netanyahu, Mokiyami, first ban. His name is Rufai Oseni Eshegoni. Yes, I've been corrected. And it's important that we put names out properly. Rufai Oseni and not El Rufai. Thank you so much for that correction. And I love correction and I love feedback. I've lived with the, I don't want to put it as English people, but I've lived in a society where feedback and also questions can be asked. But the problem I have with people is when they come here and try to talk me down, especially because you have been given 10 kobo gloat to come and attack us, I will curse you and will attack you back. My body is so tight, my skin can take everything, but I will. So Rufai Oseni said, and I quote, because I want to go back to Babakitoye letter, not letter, this, I've sent it out to many people. If you need a copy, just go on my website or just ask me. I still asked people yesterday saying, Koiki, I need Babakitoye letter, this and that. I tried to do my best. And I want to move away from this. When would Igbo become president? Bashir Ahmed says, when they beg the North. Why must they beg the North? Then let everybody go their separate way. But Wike will not support the Biafra because Wike is a criminal. The Igbo politicians are criminals. Imo State President Ozizo Kalu, is that Ozizo Kalu? Yeah. They are all criminals. They are so happy with the way Nnamdi Kanu is still in the custody of the DSS. Has been to Iyako, that criminal judge, continue to say, with the Constitution of Nigeria that has treaty, that you can't just go and kidnap somebody and bring it back to Nigeria and try it. Oh, because, no, Koiki, shut up. But Nnamdi Kanu run away from the bail condition. You're crazy. He never ran away. Buhari wanted to kill him in 2017, just like Buhari wanted to kill Igboho in 2001. 2021 rather. So that's on that. We can never be one. There's no amount of your plead. Koiki, we have intertwined. No, we will lose it. Let everybody go their separate ways. That is the final solution to the contraction created by the British. The British created it, they're enjoying to some extent. Muki Mr. Oluwashola Fatu Ashe. So let's go back to Babakitoye because I have 24 minutes according to my time. It's exactly 28 minutes past 5. Those of you in Canada, America, will be going to bed soon because I know it's very late on the other side of the globe. Those of you in China, Alen Conde and the rest, I know it's already in the afternoon. Moki Oloriabiwa Walata, Moki Zilen Konsi. And if you're one of those that is probably not one of those that love this platform, you have the right not to love it, but the truth remains that Nigeria is a zoo. That's the one you don't like to hear. A zoo that cannot provide the basic amenities of life for you, your family, your networks, and as many people continue to suffer in the zoo. I was passing through the zoo in London. They have doctors for the animals, they have electricity, they have food that they eat, they have the kind of weather that they have to look after them because it's getting warm. Oru ti mú ní UK, so àwọn animals kan wà wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ máa tọ́jú wọn ju tẹ́lẹ̀ lọ. But in Nigeria today, whether it is whether it is harmattan, whether it is hot weather, everything is going down. Your economy, Tinubu cannot revive it. It is dead. Not that Tinubu created the problem, but it was part of the APC. This is the 9th year of the APC. Buhari was 8 years, Tinubu 1 year. That is 9 years. That doesn't mean that the PDP, the criminals from Saraki and the rest of them, they're all criminals. Looted the treasury dry, and you still see them in Agbada attending functions. I saw Obasanjo and the rest of them launching book. They're always launching book when they stole so much money. How many Yoruba people today have 1 million naira in their account as part of their money for doing business? You can put it in the comment section. 1 million naira. Like of Inshowo. Some of you have it, but most time they are ritualist money, drug money, and all kind of money stolen from individual. As bank manager continue to steal money, government continue to kill you as well. Nigeria must end for the Yorubas and the indigenous people to survive. Yeah, Uzodima Olori Burukuni is another criminal. That one is working for the Fulanis, just like we know many Yorubas are working for the Fulanis. So let's move swiftly because we don't have much time. So I'm going to jump some of these. We Yoruba, a nation with proud roots and history, but I'm going to push as much. We know that we are the first oldest people in the planet or in the world. We know how we came about. You know, we don't have to go into all the details, but let's go straight into a little bit of history. Those that knows us, and when you go to our explorer, they're not telling us who we are, but they're telling us that this is who you are. How can the Oyibo people say, this is who you are? Why do you then want to lock yourself and your potentials in a shit system that is dragging you back? This little, okay, I'm not going to go through that one. Okay, let's start with there. Very importantly, early Yoruba people evolved patterns of behavior from the certainty of their belief that Yoruba people are the first humans in the world. Behavior such as the goodwill towards all human groups and hospitality to all foreigners. Yoruba people, even some that have been dealt with, London. Another Yoruba man will come now. Another Shekiri man will come. They will still accommodate them. That is who we are. We are very, very accommodating people. Yes, I mean, we could be very difficult, you know, with some of our people, but we are accommodating because it is like that. But the reason why some of us are becoming monsters is because the system known as Nigeria has turned it into what it is. In the 19th century, which is when Nigeria was created, in some part of Yoruba homeland, especially in Ife, some of the first European visitors, àwọn Europeans ẹni aláwọ̀ funfun, àwọn òyìnbó amúnisìn, they were exploring. They don't care whether mosquito was biting them. A lot of them died, but they didn't give up. Why must we give up? Because I take by Yoruba nation. Koiki ti sú wa, ìrọ̀lẹ́ ń pa fún wa. Oh, the Europeans never give up on Africa. That is why they are still holding on to Africa today. We must not give up on the Yoruba nation cause. It hasn't come true. It will come true when nobody knows. The Europeans, nígbà táwọn wá explore wa, bí àwọn ò sọ fún ẹ rí, nígbà táwọn wá, their scheme could not take a lot of things that some of them kòkòrò kékeré ló jẹ wọ́n báyìí ló pa wọ́n dànù. Because then there was not enough. Àwa dẹ̀ ní nǹkan tá a máa ń lò. Àwa nísìn nígbà táwọn dé, ó ní nǹkan táwa máa ń lò tó ń bá wa lára mu. Àwa la kọ́kọ́ ní vaccine. Gbẹ́rẹ́ tó máa ń já sí wa lára gbogbo wa la ní. Má sọ pé ò ní. Èmi ní tèmi. Gbẹ́rẹ́ yẹn tó ń fi sí wa lọ́wọ́ yẹn, vaccine ni. But we didn't know all these things. Today, you go to the GP. Oh yeah, don't let your children die. One of my grandmother was telling me about kilo masava Nigeria, you know. Oh my God, do sapa melori nisin. But my log bottom, my not my log body, my suffering later at the Matushe program. There's still mono yakot eradicated in Nigeria. But what they've told us is, don't believe in that your own anymore. Abandon that your own. Or yeah, take the Bill Gates vaccine. Bẹ̀rẹ̀ tán sínsí wa lára. Vaccine ni. Ó níṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe fún gbogbo wa lọ́wọ́. Ó níṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe sínú body immune wa. Ó dẹ̀ ká máa renew ẹ̀. Ẹlòmíì ní sìn tí ó ti ń lọ church. Anáhùn jágbẹ́rẹ́ mọ́. Tọ́ba ní kó wá jẹ́gbẹ́rẹ́ ní sàn. Láíláí. Àwọn ọmọ wa mélòó nísìn la jágbẹ́rẹ́ fún nílùú òyìnbó. I can't remember anybody saying, Koiki, ọmọ mo jágbẹ́rẹ́ fáwọn ọmọ mi. I don't know. I've never heard about it. But wọ́n já fáwa nígbà táwa ń kékeré. Jágbẹ́rẹ́ fún wa. I remember then. Blade. Pa. You know? Kìíní ẹ̀ bí dúdú báyìí. Wá dẹ̀ fi pa. Wá dẹ̀ máa gbẹ mọ́bẹ̀. Oníṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe. Detox. Oníṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe. Bọ̀ lẹ́ni nísìn. Ó bá sọ fún yàn pé gbẹ́rẹ́. A ní ibo tóun ti ń pe Jésù. Tóun ti ń kírun wákàtí 5. Ó tún sọ̀rọ̀ gbẹ́rẹ́. Àwọn aláwo ló ṣe yẹn. But the Europeans, when they came, nígbà tó dé gẹ́gẹ́ bí bàbá kí tó ṣe ń ṣàlàyé fún wa, because àlásìkò tó pọ̀, I have 15 minutes. When the first European visitors came, wọ́n ní wọ́n wà puzzled. Ǹtẹ́ yìí ṣe níbí báyìí, ẹ̀yin ti wà develop bá, ẹ̀yin ti wà nígbà táwọn ìbò dé, wọ́n ò bá wa ní wòwò. Ó gbọ́ mi dáadáa. Nígbà táwọn ìbò dé ní 15th century, not even 19th century, because Portuguese 15th century ló dé sọ́dọ̀ wa, 14th-15th century. Nígbà tó dé, àti mọ̀ pé ó yẹ kíyàn bo ẹ̀ka má fi gbogbo ẹnu sọ, ó yẹ kíyàn bo tí Elédùmarè fún yàn gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn ìlú kan wà láfíríkà, àwọn máa ń ṣe sílẹ̀ ni. Bí ìran tí wọ́n ṣe jẹ́ nìyẹn. Tó bá lọ sí South Africa, àwọn ibì kan wà níbẹ̀, àwọn obìnrin wọn kì í wọ bra. Wọ́n á máa rí ìwòwò ọmọlúàbí wọn. Àwa láṣẹ mọ̀ pé ìwòwò ni, àwọn ò rí pé ìwòwò ni. Báwọn ṣe fẹ́ nìyẹn. But àwa ní ọ̀dọ̀ tiwa nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, àwa ti ń bo ìsàlẹ̀, a ti ń bo òkè, a ti ń bo as dignity. Dignity yẹn lé ní nísìn àti wá ṣe sílẹ̀. Ẹ lọ sórí TikTok. Èmi ò sí lórí TikTok mọ́, so I don't know what is going on TikTok. Mo kàn máa rí tán máa ń send àwọn short video kankan sí mi tó ṣe play mi tí mo lè rí. Kò ń ṣe ìtìṣẹ́ máa lò. I don't even want to go on that platform. Àwa ará àwọn tó ń ṣìdílẹ̀. Ìwòwò ọmọlúàbí. Wọ́n ní wọ́n máa jó, wọ́n máa fìdí jó. Ó yá power tap. Ó yẹ fún wa ní coins. Àwọn tó yẹ ká máa tó yẹ ká máa ṣe trade in billions of Yoruba money, ká máa ṣòwò. Yes, ìyẹn ò ní ká má ṣe fàájì. Àwa lọ ń ṣe power tap lórí TikTok. Ó yá, ẹ fún mi ní coins. Ó yá, ẹ fún mi ní gun. Àwọn máa ṣìdì, wọ́n gbọ́yàn síta. Ìran Yorùbá kì í ṣe gbogbo yẹn. Iṣẹ́ ni nígbà tí èèyàn bá rí iṣẹ́ tó dẹ̀ rí fóònù lọ́wọ́. Okay, Namibia, wọ́n náà Namibia ni. Ìwòwò ọmọlúàbí làwọn máa ń wà. Culture tí wọ́n nìyẹn. But nígbà táwọn òyìnbó máa dọ́dọ̀ tiwa, àwa ti ń bora. Civilization ti wà lọ́dọ̀ wa. The first European visitors were puzzled that our people received them as kinsmen who had been long gone and who had returned. Wọ́n ní nígbà tó dé, ẹ mọ̀, ìwọ náà máa ń wò náà, tọ́rẹ̀ tó lọ sílùú òyìnbó bá dé, ìṣẹ́ ló ń jẹ́ kó máa wò pé ọmọ ọ̀bọ ẹ̀ ọdẹ ti wá lọ Amẹ́ríkà, ti gbé mọ́tò dé, ó ti kọ́lé. Tí wọn náà bá wà òkè ní tó bá yẹ pé Nàìjíríà ń ṣiṣẹ́, wọn á kọ́ máa rí as nothing. Look, I've been few places in the last couple of days. Àwọn òyìnbó kan ní owó burúkú nílùú ìdébi pé wàá máa wonder pé ṣé UK náà lájọ wà ṣá? But I don't see it as nothing. Ibi tẹ́mi gbé tẹ́mi lọ́rùn. At least àwọn kan náà sùn ta tí tó ń sọ fún gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì sí pé how can we be in UK and we have many people that are homeless nílùú tó lóba tó níjòyè tó ní ọba King Charles, ó ní àwọn ìjòyè, because Nàìjíríà ni mo kí bàbá wa Ọọ̀ni of Ifẹ̀ ni gọ́vnọ̀ wà superior sí Ọọ̀ni, gọ́vnọ̀ tó máa lò 8 years. How did we get to where King Charles is the head of the government? Rishi Sunak ní òun pé King Charles. Maybe ṣe rí àwọn kan tá à ń sọ yìí, ó máa dàbí àwàdà. Ó jẹ́ kí Tinubu máa pe Ọọ̀ni of Ifẹ̀ kó tó make any decision. Àwọn òyìnbó wá yọ̀ yẹn kúrò, wọ́n reverse ẹ̀, wọ́n ní káwọn olóṣèlú wà superior jù àwọn bá wa lọ. How come? A dẹ̀ accept yẹn, a dẹ̀ ní kò jẹ́ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀, ẹjẹ́ dá padà. Ìyẹn ló dìjà láàrin àwọn àtàwọn ọmọ Yorùbá. But nílùú tèmi gbé, bí ẹ̀gbọ́n nígbà tí Rishi Sunak tó ń sọ̀rọ̀, when he said, I phoned King Charles, ó béèrè àyè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀, ó take permission ẹ̀ to dissolve the government. And next week, Thursday, the government will be dissolved so that they can go into a full campaign for the next 5 weeks. And then àwọn ní lẹ́sẹ̀tò náà, àwọn ká má tún padà síbẹ̀. Torí ìyẹn ló lè lómi máa fi gbọ́ nísìn. Gbogbo ilé tí mo sọ látẹ̀kọ́ nísìn wọ́n gbọ́ yẹn mọ́. Because tọkùnrin bá ti rí òkè àti ìsàlẹ̀, gbogbo brain ẹ̀ máa spin ni. So ìyẹn la ṣe máa ń fẹ́ careful lórí platform tiwa. Àwọn kan wà tẹ́ pé tó fi ń ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe nìyẹn. Ìyẹn nípa. Because in tó ń pàrònú rẹ fáwọn kan nìyẹn. Sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn sọ níbí ìbàlọ́ títí. But thanks so much for the comment, my brother Keke Okos. I am just 12 minutes to the end of this program. Do you understand what that means? Rishi Sunak, the UK Prime Minister. Hello, Our Royal Majesty. I am just phoning to take permission from you, sir, to dissolve the government. Okay. Well, when do you plan to dissolve it? Next week, Thursday. All right, go ahead and make an announcement to the public. Rishi Sunak dare not come out and tell us he dissolved the parliament without instructions coming from the King Charles or the monarch. Do you understand what that means? The UK preserve their own heritage. The UK preserve their own monarchy system of government. And in reverse, the Yoruba monarch system was kept under the politicians. That into a coma pawalekunia. But Yoruba people say it's not worth crying for. Let us just fix Nigeria. Nobody will be able to fix Nigeria. You can try. You will fail millions of times. 10 minutes to the end of the program. Let's move a little bit more to what we can pay. While we are pondering this fact of the Yoruba history, this is not me saying it. There is now some modern scientists, Tomanshi research of human genetic history, are now saying that the earliest human DNA, DNA, I'm sure most of you will be hearing DNA, DNA, I feel more, I don't want to go into that conversation, but you know where I was going to take you to. I feel more beer, omoye, only, baba, omoye, tato basi family wa, I want to one white justice. I don't want to go into other area. You know what I'm talking about. We have now confirmed that the DNA of the Yoruba people are saying that the earliest human DNA, Mokiri, brother me, Omododowa Media TV, the earliest human DNA in the world. I love to Tiban sort of world, Umanda Kamari, in the world lele agbaye. And it is big for everybody. Don't let anybody tell you, and Yoruba nation cannot stand on its own. No, we have our space, our territory. The human DNA in the world have been found in a Yoruba territory. According to all the evidence from the archaeological and allied research, we Yoruba, our Yoruba, as one distinct cultural group, and yato. Yoruba ni oniwa, oniasha, onishe. Amo what is gbogbo ẹ̀rú ni. Oni system that we operate. Oni bá ṣe ń tò ètò. Ètò dé ló jẹ́ kí gbogbo ẹ̀ dàrú. Yorùbá ló máa táwọn ọmọ mi bá wà níbí báyìí, ẹ̀yin náà máa ń rí lẹ́ǹkọ̀ọ̀kan, ojú lásán ti máa fún wọn, wọ́n máa control ara wọn. Wà lórí bus pẹ̀lú àwọn Yorùbá. Èmi ló ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn àbí wà á ríran o. Ọmọ tó gbọ́ Yorùbá, wà á ríran o yẹn, ó mọ tó mì. Ṣé mò ń sọ fún apá àníjọ nígbà tá a bá dé bí báyìí? Wà á fojú bẹ́ẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀, wà á fi mú bẹ́ẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀. Yorùbá ò ní wáṣọ òkè lọ síbi tí kò jẹ́ kó wọ́ lọ. Because wọ́n máa béèrè pé kí lẹ̀ ń ṣe tẹ́ fi wáṣọ òkè wá? Aṣọ òkè níbi tó máa wọ̀ lọ. Ẹ fẹ́ ṣèyàwó ni, ó ní system. Ṣé báwa ṣe ń ṣèyàwó ni Haúsá ṣe ń ṣèyàwó ni? Ṣé báwa ṣe ń gbé ìkómọ ni Ìgbò ń ṣèkómọ? Bẹ́ẹ̀ gbogbo ilẹ̀ tí mo báwọn Ìgbò ṣe máa ń ṣèkómọ, ìbò wọn ń ṣèkómọ ní gbogbo agbègbè wọn lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ bẹ́yẹn. Is it the way that we are doing our naming ceremony that the Igbos are doing theirs? We are distinct people. But because we should not have anything to do with the creation of what British did on us. And we are just 6 minutes away to the end of the program. Wọ́n wá jẹ́ kó yé wa pé ní Àkúrẹ́ níbẹ̀ yẹn, mo ní níbẹ̀ yẹn, ní Àkúrẹ́, ní Ondo State, níbi táwọn ọmọ lókà wà, ní Àkúrẹ́, wọ́n náà rí, wọ́n á ní láti bí a máa ra kìíní ẹ̀ so that irú yàn bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ báyìí, ó yẹ kí dóòtà bá ń ṣe lórí software a máa rí bọ̀, ó yẹ kí ẹ máa score agbárí èèyàn. Bí èèyàn bá kú, kọ́lọ̀ ń jẹ́ àdàgbà ká dògbò. Wọ́n á náà rí score. níbi tó ti ń dig. And according to all evidence from the archaeological and allied research, we Yoruba, as one distinct cultural group, have been living on the present homeland as far back as 8,000 years. That means pé Nigeria ò tẹ̀ súnmọ́ ìdajì into ẹ̀kẹ́nẹ́fẹ́ para yín fún. Koiki chapter, we love Nigeria. No, but Yoruba people is 8,000 years. Why must you want to die for Nigeria? That is just 100 years. Wọ́n wá ní wọ́n rí kankan ní inú cave kan near Akure in Yoruba land, dating back to 6,000 BC. That's about 8,000 years. Only it is the oldest human bone fossil. Egungun èèyàn. Wọ́n rí nínú cave kan tó ń pè ní Ìwé-Lérú. Máà nírọ́ ni mò ń pa. Wọ mọ́tò kó lọ sákúrẹ́ kó náà ń wá ibi tó ń pè ní Ìwé-Lérú pé bọ̀bọ̀ kan wà onírọ́ ni. Mo kí bàbá Kúnlé síta pé onírọ́ ni, ó parọ́ ju kí ló dálẹ̀ lọ. Ó ń fi Yorùbá nation fi ń gba owó lórí social media ni. Torí èyí tí wọ́n rí nìyẹn. Ó rí the bigger picture. Ṣé Yorùbá nation la fi ń jẹun? In my 24 years of living in UK, mo ní kíyà tó jẹ mí nílùú yìí. Wò ó, tí bá dọ́dọ̀ mọ̀ sí mi, ká tẹ̀ sọ pé inú ilé tèmi kò sóúnjẹ ńbẹ̀. Tí bá dọ́dọ̀ mọ̀ sí mi, màá sì bọ́ oúnjẹ níbẹ̀. Kò sí bó ṣe wá lè lé kókó tó. Tí bá sì nídìí pé mo nídìí kankan, màá sì mọ̀ pé màá lọ. Ṣé tí wọn náà bá sórí gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì Tinubu tó bá ti sàn ẹ́ tó ti gbé ẹ, no problem. Ó ní láti tọ́pọ̀ wá Yorùbá nation. Bọ̀ jẹ́ kí Tinubu ṣe tán kó dá padà fúnlẹ̀ Haúsá. Sórí gbogbo tí Tinubu ṣe tó ń dùn mọ́ wá nù yẹn. Àwa fẹ́ yẹ kó ṣàṣeyọrí. Àwa ò gbàdúrà kó fún, mo sọ fún yín, èmi ò gbàdúrà kó Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí Tinubu kú. Because tó bá ti kú problem ní ìṣẹ̀ tí máa dìjọba gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì wa lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ ni. Ó sì bẹ́tà ká máa rí Tinubu níbẹ̀. Even though we know Tinubu is a weak element. Mo ní mi ni last man standing yín. Ìwọ wá ń sọ pé irọ́ là ń pa. Gbéra nísìn kó lọ sí Ìwé-Lérú. As I'm ending this program, kó béèrè pé níbo ló ń pè ní Ìwé-Lérú l'Ákúrẹ́. Ìbílẹ̀ Yorùbá ni mo ní kó lọ sí north níbi tó máa ti kidnap ẹ. Wọ́n náà wá rí egungun níbẹ̀. Mo kí àmì Grace Olúṣọ̀tọ̀ ẹ̀kábọ̀ àti fẹ́ parí ètò. Wọ́n ní wọ́n rí egungun yẹn nígbà tó wá lọ gbé orí machine. Ẹni tó ṣẹ̀kù tó ì tí pẹ́, wọ́n ní wọ́n rí any result nǹkan tó pa. Wọ́n wá ní egungun yẹn nígbà tó lọ chẹ́kẹ̀. Ìran tá à ń sọ yìí 8,000 years ni wọ́n ti ń gbé lórí ilẹ̀ yìí. And I'll leave it like that this morning. Etí wọn ní di fótìtọ́. I know the truth is bitter. I know some of you knows the truth. But ẹ̀ńdúró kí àwọn wòlíì kan sọ fún wa pé òtítọ́ ló ń sọ níbẹ̀ yẹn. No problem. I wish you the best of luck in this government of Tinubu. But we will be here giving you all the reasons why Tinubu can never know better than Baba Akintoye. There's no amount of team that Tinubu puts together. He will never have the knowledge and the history that Baba Akintoye knows about Nigeria. And on that note, a very good morning. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. Have a very blessed day and a weekend ahead. Koiki gba ló máa ń jáde. When I come out, I come out. If I don't come out, I don't come out. Iṣẹ́ wa fúnlẹ̀ wa, orílẹ̀ ibi wa, kàgbéga, kàgbéga, kàgbéga fàlẹ́rì. Ìgbàgbọ́ wa ni pé bàtí bẹ̀rù làbọ̀ mọ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká jọlá. Ìṣọ̀kan àtòmìnira ní kẹjẹ́ ká máa lépa. Ìtẹ̀síwájú fọ̀pọ̀ ire àtòhun tó dára. Have a very blessed morning. Bye for now.